Welcome back, everyone, to another amazing week of Ascent. We are here for some very last-second sort of organized games. We're here for Season 5, Week 4, presented by AOEsports, streamed by Koalas Esports. My name is Opara, and I'm joined by the wonderful Vocalize.
Great to be here, Opara. My first time on one of these, so looking for some good games from both these teams. Of course, one very late notice, so hopefully the game still doesn't disappoint anyway.
Absolutely right. Now, if you are new to Ascent and wondering what Ascent is, it's a fun, competitive tournament with a prize pool of $1,100 to be split among the divisions. It's a 5-week tournament followed by 2 weeks of finals, with everyone split into higher or lower bracket divs. It's a massive tourney with 40 plus teams, and it's into the 5th season, which has been funded by our wonderful and amazing, lovely Patreons. Thank you to each and every one of you who are helping us out with the Patreon. If you want to be able to fund more tournaments like this one, consider heading over to our Patreon, which is patreon.com/AOEsports. As well as that, if you want to join in, play as part of a team, make sure you join the Discord or website by clicking on the links down below. We've got the Koalas Esports, AOEsports. There's a lot of Discords that you can jump in. And yeah, we got some really fun games tonight. So Vocalize, what is our first match that we're looking at?
So, very late noticely, we have grabbed 2 teams from, I believe, Division 5, which is Getting Creative and METR1CKS, it would appear. I don't know much about either team, Opara, but I'm sure you can enlighten us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We've got some really fun teams coming together last minute because our teams, one of our teams decided to just take the loss for today. It sounded like some people were busy, so unfortunately they had to drop out. So Getting Creative and METR1CKS have come in to stand by. On the side of Getting Creative, we have Smacks as their main tank, Slippery Cheese as the off tank, Nanuvo as their hit scan DPS, Marsh as their flex DPS, Lag as their main support, and finally Citrus, which really interesting thing to say about Citrus. Citrus is the coach of our next team that's going to be playing after this game, Team ZAKDACARDOOR. So really cool to see a coach play on their team, and then their team that they coach is going to play afterwards. So that's a little bit of exciting news for you. But Vocalize, what is METR1CKS looking like?
METR1CKS has got some names I can't pronounce, but I'm going to attempt anyway. So you have Tuata OK on main tank, your Aizo Yashi on the off tank, Yoshinori 2K on the hit scan DPS, Jay on the flex, Strategia on the main support, the more of a Lucio kind of guy, and Solace taking the flex, the Ana, in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely right. These are 2 solid-looking teams. It's a Div 2 game, I believe, so it's going to be really exciting to watch. It's going to be a solid matchup for us today. And yeah, realistically, I think we've got a show coming through either way. Hopefully, METR1CKS and Creative, they both play their hearts out, even with this last-minute call to come and play. It should be a lot of fun all around. So just quickly, so people are aware, the map pool for tonight for both games is going to be starting off at Lijiang Tower. And then after that, we'll move into Hollywood, Blizzard World, or Kings Row. It is loser's choice. For the third map, we'll be going to either Junkertown, Watchpoint, Gibraltar, or Dorado, a lovely escort map. Then on our assault, we'll be looking at either Temple of Anubis, Hanamura, or Volskaya. And if we really need it, we'll be going to a control point to confirm the win, Nepal or Oasis. And if somehow, some way, we need a tiebreaker through all of that, if some draw happens, we have Ilios to tiebreak the match. We could see 6 matches. It could be a chaotic night, or it could just be the standard 5. I mean, the last couple of weeks we've been seeing games that have gone 5 maps each way.
Yeah, quite the incredible stuff from those matches. Saw a couple of them myself, but hopefully we don't have to go all that way, you know. But maybe we'll still get great match nonetheless. Hopefully, I mean, we're going to get both teams up and running shortly, I believe, as we're setting on now.
Yeah, absolutely right. We'll be jumping into Lijiang Tower. I think we'll just quickly do a real quick run through of our Game 2 teams, just so people are aware what's coming up after this match. Our first team, Team ZAKDACARDOOR. Once again, like I said, the coach for that team was Citrus. And all of them seem to really prefer the hero Brig. I just want to point that out there. So it's looking like we're going to see a lot of solid Brig plays. But on the main tank, they have Gumion. On off tank, they have how do I not know how to say Marv? Okay, sure. Why not? They've got Scab on Flex DPS, Kitten on Hitscan DPS, Oseki on main support, and Windfeather on aim support.
I think they're all going to try and do their coach proud. All of them will probably have a go at the Brig, maybe it seems like today. Bit of a favorite hero of Citrus. But I know some of these guys, and I know they're pretty experienced players, and hopefully I wish them all the best.
Absolutely, and the team they'll be facing up against is actually one we saw on week 2, SEMANTICS, coming through to try and show us once again another wonderful game. They played off against No Snakes Given, so they're back to try and get a W on the board on stream for us tonight. And their main tank is actually going to be Escape. Last time they were playing a little bit of the Wrecking Ball, but mostly off tank. But now they're going to be playing main tank with Pinecone coming in to play the off tank. Brain Dead is going to be running that Flex DPS, and Snare is going to be on Hitscan DPS. And then finally, the main support will be Baby and Nebula back on that aim support. So really exciting to see that team try to come back and you know, give us another show. I think it's going to be a really fun match to watch.
Yeah, good stuff from both teams, but we are going to get started on the first game as soon as both teams are ready. Those two teams will have their spot in the sunlight later on tonight. But now we're going to get into Getting Creative versus Metrics.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Vocalize, moving into Lijiang Tower, you know, it's got a range of sort of play styles that you can run. What do you think we're going to be seeing starting off on Lijiang Tower?
I think the most favorable one is usually the Sim Rush, you know? Running that, you know, Rush Brawl comp with the Lucio, but with the TP involved. Pretty much in these first couple maps is what's going to be the real big plays, who can get to the point first. And having that speed advantage could be really good for both these teams. In nearly every div, it's so important to have that point presence. And we're going to see which team does it better today, and they'll probably pick up the first map.
Yeah, absolutely right. That Symmetra play is so crucial, especially just being able to set up those turrets, get a real dominant sort of shut down, lock down sort of fortress almost to play on point. We're now jumping into Lijiang Tower. It's going to be really fun. Getting Creative versus Metrics, our first game for the night. I'm really excited to see a lot of, hopefully, rush, to be honest. I really love to just watch Reinhardt's rush down, run over all of the opposing teammates on the enemy team. So hopefully we see a little bit of that play style. The Reinhardt, you know, is quite a classic. Yeah,
it's going to be a great start for both these teams. The main tank differential is going to be very important in this one. As we're just assembling our heroes right now. 25 seconds on the clock before they can pick. Probably both going for rush comps, but you never know. Someone might be going for a little bit different here.
Yeah, considering we haven't seen many of these players on stream just yet, it'll be interesting to see what they opt for. It's pretty exciting. I think you're right in the fact that they're gonna run that Symmetra, but we might see a little bit of Cassidy come out. We might see, especially on this map, a bit of Junkrat. Junkrat is generally a classic, and we do see Junkrat come out by Yoshinori here. Meanwhile, on the side of Getting Creative, Nanuvo is opting for Cassidy, and then Marsh is choosing the Doomfist.
Certainly a bit more, you know, confirming kills over on the other side, but the Junkrat's going to be pretty crucial in these first points to get them on the board. Definitely the spam damage could be really important, but they got those barriers, could really prove a problem.
Yeah, and it looks like you said, that's a Metric coming through, means that Metrics are going to get to the point really quickly. However, the path that Getting Creative opted for did give them room to push up all the way to point as well. And with that, we see Wheatbix run in as Marsh initiated a bit of a fight here, and because of that, Getting Creative have made space and just absolutely managed to take point presence here. Marsh getting up in the back lane, taking out Sag, but Jay does follow up, finding that Doomfist, and that's such a critical kill. However, the Nuvo does find Jay, and now it is looking really good for Getting Creative as they decide to go chase down those final few picks and cap point.
I mean, when you talk about a main tank differential, you see Wheatbix immediately getting a Shatter online, and that really much cleaned them out that fight. Very well done from him, not to mention the Doomfist Marsh and the Nuvo. Move on the Cassidy, really showing good signs here, really good, like closing down those angles and making it really difficult for Metrics to get through.
Yeah, I really liked that playstyle they had there, but out an early amplification Matrix. Boulder got thrown through, but didn't get too much value. Marsh, however, got way too aggressive, and Sag just ran them down. The Fire Strike taking out Sag, however, Wheatpix Kid is not out of this fight right now. They are putting in hard work, and with the Flux coming through by Arna, that is going to make a lot of pressure for Metrics to try stay alive, and A200 MS does struggle doing it. Jay, however, on this Doomfist, really opting to make sure they win this fight. They just need to take out Wheatbix Kid, and now Lag is back to lag out that cap as they managed to get it to around 52%.
The Doomfist swap was a very important one there. He got the kill confirms that they needed to get that point over, so well done from Jay there. Not to mention the rest of his team. They committed both support ults Metrics to that fight. The beat proving useful against that Flux, and it's probably going to be very good in the long run to keep this momentum going.
Absolutely right. A lot the ult economy usage right now is really going well for both teams. I mean, they're using their ult so perfectly, and I'm loving to see it right now. Now it looks like Getting Creative, once again Getting Creative, taking that high ground push. Gravitic Flux comes out by Iso, but oh, the Shatter by Tuata is so beautiful, taking down 3 and just the follow-up kills rolling through. Getting Creative here. Marsh trying to do a bit of a meteor strike, takes out Yoshi, but they fall just as quickly.
Wow, the ults were just used so perfectly there from Metrics, the Shadow and the Flux. I mean, the Flux didn't get much, but it put them in a position where Tua could get the Shadow on their Reinhardt weak fix, and that sealed them out the fight here. Equal percentage in the next fight.
This is looking good right now for Metrics. They just need to win a couple more team fights. And so far, Getting Creative just opting for that normal sort of approach, going up into that middle sort of area here. Jay getting aggressive, has to Meteor Strike to get away, but Yoshi has a good Deadeye, taking out Cetrix. Now the Meteor Strike not coming through for too much, but Sad is going to take out Nanuvo. And now we see Metrics get real aggressive. And this is quite a classic hold, just pushing all the way up to the doorway, then falling back.
Yeah, Metrics are doing a really good job now getting that first pick, especially since it's Citrus for the last 2 fights now. He's not going to be able to get off this window, and Sag is going to get his another window for this last fight here. It's going to be a do-or-die situation now for Getting Creative.
Good shield block by Wheatbix Kid, blocking the Shatter from Tuatha. But the Amplification Matrix on both sides is working out for Getting Creative as they're able to just pump in a bunch of damage. Wheatbix Kid is charging through their Reinhardt counterpart, and that point is just going to go back with 99% remaining.
That window high noon combo was perfect for them. That really punished everyone in a bad position. Now, he ended up getting a kill from that Nanuvo, and that was really, really influential in getting them that point take. As they're coming on to right now, they got 2 ults to use again, and just in case anything bad happens, both sides have got the beat.
I think that's going to be critical. That that sound barrier is going to come through and just really confirm the fight win. So it'll be interesting to see which Lucio gets it off. Well, sound barrier does come through, stops the Gravitic Flux, getting much value from Arna there. Because of that, these teams are still looking real even. However, Tuata is falling so low. Flux now coming out by Iso. And once again, those sound barriers are just absolutely making sure that the Fluxes don't get any value. Marsh getting a good punch onto Jay, and there's the Meteor Strike, the Deadeye. The ult's really just coming through to confirm the first map of Lijiang Tower is going to go the way of Getting Creative. And these two teams, Vocalize, are looking really solid.
Yeah, it was neck and neck that entire time, wasn't it? I mean, the real difference maker in that fight was the 2 DPS for Getting Creative. Nuvo and Marsh really delivering when it counted. getting all those picks in that last fight, especially when Lag dropped that beat down. Just an immediate punch from Marsh on the J, and that was all she wrote in that fight. But now we're going to be going back to the more rush conventional style for Metrics. They got that J back on the Symmetra as we go for a pause.
Yeah, now it's interesting to see how Getting Creative, even though they opted to not run the Symmetra, they found ways to work around it. They got to point quick enough that they could take the fight, and then because of the way Marsh and Weepix Kid initiated, they were able to get really aggressive and take point very quickly. But now with the swap onto Wrecking Ball, if they do commit to Wrecking Ball, and it's not just a playing in spawn type of Wrecking Ball, it could be interesting to see what difference this makes. And especially on Garden, where Jay can just teleport straight into the window and immediately have that point presence and just set up a really devastating sort of Symmetra turret situation. It'll be interesting to see how this team comp fares this time around.
Yeah, definitely the speed onto point is very, very crucial here. I mean, once we always know the point is what you need. That is the objective. And if you can get it, then you're going to stand a really good chance at winning out maps. And that was the whole plan the last time for Metrics, and hopefully it can work out for them this time.
Yeah, it's I think it's going to be a pretty good sort of rush down and just kept that point as they start to unlock the doorways here of Lijiang Tower. Realistically, Metrics, they want to win this point quick and really dominantly to put a little pressure on Getting Creative, but B, also not to lose Lijiang Tower as our first map of the series. And you do see Jay opting for the teleporter. Rather than going to the window, they just go onto the balcony, probably so the teleporter doesn't get taken out as quickly, and they just get a little bit more value from it if early picks do come through. Now we have both teams, Getting Creative and Metrics, just fighting on point. It's a typical sort of Reinhardt shield fight with the hammer just trying to find an early pick, and Marsh is the one that unlocks this point with a 200 MS falling to Marsh. And now Weepix Kid just running over all of the players of Metrics, and once again you just see how their slow but sure sort of dominant rush is going to roll over Metrics.
Yeah, Marsh is playing a very crucial role in their setup right now, initiating the fights in with a very good punch there. And that just allowed Weepix and Lag to just speed boost through and just clean out the rest of the team. Very well done with him. And it's not the first time we're going to see it either. We're going to see it a lot more on this map.
It's good to see Jay instantly going off to Mei. Amplification Matrix gets pretty much no value due to the quick rush and the Mei wall blocking off any value. Weepix Kid, however, does get a good shatter. Tuatara falling so low, but Marsh is actually going to be the one that falls first. Diva gets frozen up. Ana desperately trying to stay alive, manages to get back to a little bit of support, but now with Lag getting taken out, we do see the remaining players of Getting Creative start to collapse one by one. Yoshinori just getting a good couple of picks, and that was a very quick and decisive sort of push for Metrics, and now it's just a little bit of skill from Marsh and Lag.
You saw Jay there, he swapped over to the Mei, and that was very good in order to slow down the pace and just get it into Metrics' way. Just Getting Creative were just going so quickly on, and the wall really helped them there. Was able to keep Tua alive after getting solo shattered like that. Really well played.
Yeah, sometimes all that matters is just that hero swap, and Jay chose a very good hero. Mei can freeze up the Doomfist, makes those dives from Doomfist a little bit harder. So it's going to be interesting to see how much more value that comes through. Now this is a bit of a split push coming through. Marsh trying to punch through, gets a kill onto Yoshinori, but the self-destruct gets, oh okay, no, never mind. The Meteor Strike gets a lot more value from Marsh. Marsh just winning this team fight almost single-handedly, taking out 4.
Yeah, Getting Creative. Marsh, he is making the difference for his team right now. Pick after pick in these fights. It's quite incredible what he's doing. It's really well done from him. He's just allowing his team to not even having to use their ults. That's like going to get ready for 4 in the next fight, though. You know, Metrics having 5 themselves, so don't cap them out just yet.
And here comes that Amplification Matrix once again blocked by the Mei wall, so not too much value coming through. However, Sag has their own one with Marsh in the backline taking out 2. Blizzard comes out by Jay, but without a team to get much value on the Blizzard, it might not do as much work as they were hoping. It's just tanks versus a Lucio though, so actually Izo and Tua, they do find the value, and it's just lag, wall riding around, trying to get to 99%. They do manage to. Weepix Kid is now returning, and potentially this fight could keep going for getting creative. This sort of quick rush back onto point and win the fight is really good. The shatter from Weepix Kid could confirm this fight as Marsh and Arna take down two. Weepix Kid's charge into Sag. That is looking really devastating now for Metrics. What looked like a really good blizzard turned out to be enough stall from lag to win them the first map. Lijiang Tower going to Getting Creative.
Wow, I definitely thought Metrics had that, you know, how strong Blizzard is just by itself. It really just took out the entire team, but lag was there. He was able to pick up a kill onto the tank tour, and it was all she wrote from there. The team came back, and it was just, there you go. Very brilliant play there from Getting Creative. Really good work from them. They definitely deserved this first point win.
Yeah, and what a really good performance by Getting Creative as well. Really showing us that they're here and they mean business. And Metrics, I really respect that they were able to swap off and they brought the pressure to Getting Creative. But Marsh on that Doomfist was honestly really scary.
He's most certainly one of those picks, which is kind of just like a bit, definitely more of a gamble, but it definitely paid off during that fight. They weren't able to get rid of him. They weren't able to stun him around. They definitely weren't able to counter him at all. And that is why they got the win there. So many picks, so many frags out on that point, and that just really helped the tanks push through and get kills.
Yeah, now moving into our hybrid map, they have the options of Hollywood, Blizzard World, or Kings Row. What map do you think the losing team Metrics would want to choose?
I mean, they definitely favor more of the rush style, but they might be wanting to switch it up. But as we know, a lot of teams do like to go to Kings Row. Like, yeah. It's kind of a it's a disservice not to go to Kings Row,
especially on ASCENT or any sort of AOEsports production. If it's not Kings Row, what are you doing? And it looks like it is Kings Row. Metrics is opting to push into Kings Row for this next hybrid map. And I think it makes sense. I mean, they seem to really like that Reinhardt Diva play style, so it gives them a lot of value to continue running that. But Marsh does still get good amount of value playing the Doomfist.
Yeah, definitely. If they do go to Kings Row, they'll have a definitely good fun time. You know, getting picks there. There's definitely a lot of walls that he can punch into, so might be a bit fun.
Yeah. The other thing to mention, Jay on the Mei. Metrics can get a lot of value out of Mei on Kings Row, so I expect to kind of see that. We might even see like a Mei Reaper, a Mei Cassidy, or even a Mei Junkrat. I mean, Yoshi ran a little bit of Junkrat at the start, so there's a lot of options for them to run. And it really just comes down to what they think is going to really put a lot of pressure on Marsh if Marsh continues to run the Doomfist, whilst also not letting Nanuvo then become a really good DPS because all the focus is going on to Marsh. That can sometimes be the downfall of Doomfist. When everyone focuses on Doomfist, then their other DPS player just starts to get so much value.
I mean, you saw it there. Nanuvo definitely did have some time to shine during that when Marsh wasn't alive or was getting picked off. It didn't happen a lot, but Nanuvo can do great work even when Marsh isn't around.
Yeah, and so I think potentially if Marsh becomes really devastating, we could potentially see a Sombra pick come out. Sombra is, you know, a classic. Absolutely stop Doomfist having fun. Doomfist, when they initiate, they get hacked, they can't escape. So, do you think we'll see the Sombra come out?
I mean, it's definitely a smart play if Marsh keeps running this. Like,
yeah.
You see it there. He was such a threat during the first matches, and we don't even know if they'll continue playing that. So, I guess we'll just wait and see to see what they do.
Exactly right. It's just gonna be we have to see what they run, and we can make predictions all we want, and then the teams can be like, "Nah, we don't want to do that." It's a classic outcome in any sort of AOEsports production. Now we are jumping into Kings Row, so all our questions are about to be answered.
I mean, if you're not running those kind of that rush strat. And definitely May's really good here, but anything rush is really good on King's Row. We might see something different, but our guesses are going to be confirmed very soon. 15 seconds, in fact.
Yeah, I think I don't see how we're not going to see a sort of Reinhardt Diva comp right now, unless they one of the teams really decides they want to run that dive to try and just get really quick picks. But no, it does look like classic Ryan Diva. Marsh is still staying on that Doomfist, so I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, Marshall's doing a lot of work on the Doomfist, and especially on defense, just getting 1 or 2 picks can be crucial to confirm a defensive hold. Meanwhile, Jay running Hanzo.
Yeah, getting creative. Kind of not being creative. They're just kind of staying what they were running before, you know, on Li Zhang and all that. But Metrics, on the other hand, they're just, you know, they're pondering what to do. The Hanzo definitely is a King's Road kind of pick off that long length of, you know, sight to go through main. It's going to be very important if you can get any sort of value out of it. We're probably going to see a swap off very shortly.
Sonic Arrow does give away the position of getting creative, so being able to see, you know, they're running just around the statue gives Metrics enough information to know they can start running up this high ground. Little do they know, Marsh is waiting on the balcony, waiting for them to initiate. Marsh does get caught out, and so Marsh decides to fall back down, and now Doomfish just getting absolutely chased out. They return to the rest of getting creative, really just saying, please protect me, I don't want this rush to take me out. But Jay now on the May, so it was just an early choice to try and get some early picks, and it kind of worked out with Marsh going down early. You see all of getting creative, opting to just fall back, probably going to give them a tick or two, and then maybe initiate once Marsh is back.
Wow, the threat of the rush was so good there. The tables just turned immediately. They were on point for a second and they just got up immediately after. They are going to invest in ults though to see if they can close out this fight, but the Tua invest Shatter to make sure they get this point over.
What a beautiful Shatter. However, the picks are going the way of getting creative. They managed to go on a cheeky wee flank. Ana and Marsh here just really trying to find a good flank, get a couple of picks, and they actually confirmed the defensive hold in King's Row with 2 ticks given up.
Really good work to get the defense in. They bided their time. They allowed them to get a couple of ticks in, and they came in when they were ready and they prepared, and they showed just how good they were there. Ana did a very good job at just picking up picks wherever they could.
Yeah, now, don't get confused, chat. There's Ana, and then there's the player Ana here. So, whenever we say Ana, we're currently talking about Diva. However, the Nuvo's Deadeye taking out Jay early. That's going to make it really hard for Metrics to try to take this push. Self-destruct comes out, but the Immortality just saves Yoshi, but it doesn't save Sag. The owner of the Immortality cannot survive it. Now, Marsh just coming back, taking out 2. Oh, another really solid hold for getting creative.
Wow, you saw there, B was invested. And they didn't have much luck with it. On the other side, though, getting creative, use a couple of their ults. So who knows, we might see Metrics try and turn around the fight now with what they've got left.
Oh, a huge shadow coming through from Weepix. Marsh getting so much value out of it, and that's where Doomfist can work really well. Seismic slams, uppercuts, you know, we're comboed with a shadow where everyone's lying on the ground. Doomfist just has a field day.
Well, forget what I was saying. That happened so quickly. The shadow came out, Marsh gets the value. Simple as that. It's really well done from there. It's great team play for him to be in position and ready to know fight back and do the job that he needs to do.
Self-destruct came out by Iso, didn't get too much, but now this Blizzard, did it get eaten? I heard the Blizzard, but I don't see the Blizzard, so I'm guessing Ana ate it. And this point is slowly ticking up now. Marsh, however, taking a punch to the face with Yoshinori. Deadeye takes out Jay, and with no DPS once again, it's just going to be such a struggle for Metrics to try and come through. Tua throws the shatter out, desperately wanting some value, but your team was dead, and it's a callback to spawn.
Metrics was so close there. Are you kidding me? Very well done there. Again, getting creative. They just know when to strike, when to rush into the team, and it's just paying off so well for them right now. Marsh, the main culprit for most of these kills, and they do commit a window early.
Sound barrier comes out as well to just keep MET1CKS alive and keep this fight looking aggressive. The charge from Weepix gets called out, and a lot of aggression means that there's no more Reinhardt for getting creative. However, Marsh and Citrix are putting in the work. Self-destruct straight onto point, just trying to push people off, making sure nobody's touching so that overtime disappears. Deadeye now as well from Nanuvo, taking out ISO as they got demet. Marsh putting in a work, but Yoshi says, I am not done. I have a Death Blossom, and I want to win this fight. That could be it for MET1CKS. They might be able to confirm the point at the last second in overtime, as now it is all that is left is Weepix swinging their Reinhardt. I hope Weepix has eaten enough Weepix to win this fight, but they have not, as this point finally ticks over to MET1CKS, and they are still alive in King's Row.
Oh, poor Ana on the D.Va booped the Reaper into two of the supports, and they both got killed by the Death Blossom. Oh, and that was a serious blunder there. That certainly lost them the fight. But when you had both those main tanks back on 1v1ing on that point, of course MET1CKS were able to stabilize and get the point finally after those 4 minutes were up. Really good work from them, and very good perseverance to cap the point.
Now, it looks like MET1CKS are trying to get as aggressive as possible to get as much value from this push. I mean, they've already gotten around the first bend of King's Row and through that archway. Really good response to Marsh. Marsh tried to go and initiate, and now that Yoshi is on the McCree, it's going to be so much harder. However, Citrus does throw out a good amp, but Jay throws out a better Dragon Strike, taking out Nanuvo and Lag, and it's going to give a lot of value for this Halo to continue pushing along. A200 on the brig gets a good charge, making sure that Weepix doesn't stay alive, and Citrix getting whip-shotted. That is going to be this point, getting a lot of room very quickly through streets.
Yeah, you see there, Jay doing one of those spots that we see a lot with the Dragon Strike, showing that Hans is a pretty good pick on this map. Just, it's so difficult to get away from the Dragons there, and as you can see there, 2 picks was really the difference maker in that fight. As the momentum, it just keeps going in the way of MET1CKS right now.
Yeah, MET1CKS really putting on a dominance performance now. They finally broke through that hold that Getting Creative had, and it looks like they're just on a run. It's going to come up to Getting Creative to just really regroup and make sure they can get a solid couple of picks. Marsh still opting for the Doomfist. Dragon Strike comes out by Jay, this time not getting too much, but it did split up the team, so we could see Getting Creative fall quickly as Yoshi does take out Marsh. However, Nanuvo has taken out Jay as well. The Shatter from Weepix Kid and Tua even is going to really make sure that this fight is looking really difficult for both sides, but the rally from A200 now is probably what's going to confirm it. Self-destruct from Ana doesn't connect on too much because there's enough shields to keep alive. Lag just playing on that left side, wanting to try and keep this payload from moving. ISO has forced to throw out a self-destruct. Doesn't get much, but Sag taking out Marsh. Marsh is getting punished left, right, and center now. And I think MET1CKS has finally recognized who they need to focus down. Ana and Nanuvo, though, getting a couple of picks that could finally confirm us. Oh, no, the huge Shatter taking out 4. The picks follow up as well, 2 falling on the side of Getting Creative, losing the Baptiste, not much support, and now it's up to Lag and Marsh to try and fight on this payload to make sure it doesn't get capped. Ana gets demet, a weird sentence to say, and the amplification matrix coming out from Citrus, trying to keep the team alive that's remaining for Getting Creative. It's looking good, as it is just going to be a couple of stragglers for MET1CKS right now, but the not Cree, Cassidy even, is going to put a lot of pressure. Sound Barrier comes out to make sure Deadeye doesn't get enough, but the Deadeye gets the kill and the point gets captured with 43 seconds.
Now that is a chaotic fight. So many ults, just left, right, and center. And you got to really bring it to Tua there, who got so many shatters during that fight. Really brought home the win, the cap rather, for their team. Getting Creative. Didn't really have much of an answer after that. When you farm that many shatters, it's really difficult to get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, when you're just thrown on the ground, you can't do anything. You don't have abilities. And if Tua's throwing you on the ground every sort of 30 seconds, it's not a fun game to play anymore. And I think that was really good. I also just liked that Metrics finally recognized how much value Marsh was getting, and the Cassidy pick by Yoshi, the Ana pick by Sag and even Jay running Hanzo were all enough to make sure they counter Marsh really well.
Definitely part of the game, being able to counter heroes that come against you. Marsh's Doomfist has been near unstoppable thus far, but you see Yoshi now, they're picking up kills when they have to. The nano boots came in onto him in that last fight, and he's able to pick up some kills with the Deadeye. Improvising when needed to cap that point with time left.
And here we go. It's going to be interesting to see how this Doomfist pick by getting creative is going to give value. They could potentially roll through, get a couple of picks, and take this pretty dominantly with a good time bank. So it's going to have to come down to Metrics playing very smart, calling where that Doomfist is, and making sure they know where he is at, where they are at all times, to not get picked off randomly. Now Ana going in the backline. Weebix taking out Tua really quickly, losing that Reinhardt. That's such a big hero to have on your side, and losing it is going to make it really hard for Metrics to try continue this defense. Marsh does get taken down, but because of that, Nanuvo's able to take out A200 on the bridge. Nanuvo just getting pick after pick, and that point is so quickly taken by getting creative.
Weebix and Tua have been going at it the entire map. It's just one of those maps where just Ryan certainly shines, and we're seeing it right now. Whichever Ryan goes down first is looking like the Ryan that will lose the fight for the team. So it's going to be really important for both of these teams to keep either Tua or Weebix up.
Yeah, this Reinhardt battle is what you should be keeping your eyes on, because whichever one falls is essentially going to confirm team fights. It looks like we got another fight going on. Deadeye comes out by Nanuvo, and it's really just forcing Metrics all the way back to make sure that they don't get any damage. But now, with an amplification Matrix coming out, Metrics decide to just walk through it. They don't want to fall back any further, and they just take the fight head on, and it's working out. Tua and Yoshi getting a couple of good picks. Rally comes out to just confirm a continued fight, and Tua with a little bit more of a dominant shatter. Oh, what a good team fight for Metrics here, confirming a Streets defense and a little stagger on Ana.
Yeah, when the Ryan goes down, it's just really difficult to mess up a shadow like that. All of them just standing there, no block in sight. It's just, you can't help yourself but do it there. Really well done there from Weebix. I mean, Tua rather, to show his main tank differential once again.
Yeah, and once we were talking about it, and it's coming through, this Reinhardt difference is what is important. One Reinhardt has to be better than another to confirm the fight. So I'm really enjoying watching these Reinhardts go head to head. Getting creative, taking another really good path here, just opting to go all the way in behind, trying to find where they can go. Sonic Arrow from Jay, revealing that the whole team is certainly doing that push, but now they're opting to split up. We see Nanuvo and Ana take the high ground, and Nanuvo's getting a bit of value from it. Jay getting picked off early. Seeing that, you might want to, Deadeye to take out Citrus. Losing a lot of support makes it a bit harder for getting creative to take this push. Self-destruct comes out on both sides, but ISO self-destruct is bigger, taking out two. And because of that, it looks like Metrics are gonna have yet another solid hold.
I think the entire getting creative plan there was to confuse Metrics. Definitely confused us, but did not so much value as they would have hoped, I don't think. But Metrics just so strong. They just invested ults there when they needed to. They're getting their ults back really quickly, which is very important for these kind of holds, and just really making a difference in these fights as they are right now.
Yeah, that Dragon Strike burnt through 3 players. It didn't get the kills, but it took away enough HP that it just confirmed the remaining players were able to kill getting creative.
Getting creative now. They are winning in the ult pitch game right now. 3 to their name. On the other side, they're running over Metrics about 2. Nearly got that shatter up though. It's going to be super important for Weepix to block this if it comes alive.
Amplification Matrix bringing a lot of aggression, and Meteor Strike as well finds Jay. Losing that Hanzo, that's going to open up this fight, but A200 on the brig makes Marsh really struggle, but I think Marsh has done enough work that Getting Creative can finally start pushing this payload again.
They may be countering him, but not a lot you can do when he's got that ultimate and he just comes through with 2 kills like that. Marsh, they're really doing some great work here, but he did swap to the Hanzo though. That's a bit of a mix-up in pace. I'm a bit unsure about the pick, but hopefully you can see some value out of it.
Deadeye comes out responding to a rally, and the Deadeye does take out Yoshi, and then the Nuvo follows up, taking out A200. The shatter from Weepix kid, it looked like, really confirmed that fight, and because of that, this payload is finally going to go through second point streak phase of King's Row.
Yeah, great work there from the team. They just got so many picks. Didn't really lose anyone, I don't think, so really well done just to win that team fight. Rushing through, classic style. They've been doing it all game, and even with Marsh going on to a more range style hero, still doing work.
Yeah, showing us that they don't have to play Doomfist to do well here. Yoshi, however, getting early kill onto Citrix, and the self-destruct doesn't get much, but the Dragon Strike taking out the Weepix. Lag opts to just reset. Ana joining them, and now it's just Marsh left all alone in a room with Cassidy and a Reinhardt.
And the bomb placement there from Ezoyashi was just really good. Split up the entirety of Getting Creative, and they're just able to pick him off one by one. They did use... They do have a dragon now that might be able to do some damage as well. Marsh looking for a good angle here. Maybe Getting Creative can get something good here as he uses it now.
Oh, and what a good Dragon Strike splitting up the team, but Yoshi gets the Deadeye onto Nanuvo. These Kreese Deadeyes have constantly, Cassidy Deadeyes have constantly taken out the other Cassidy. It's really hard to remember that name. Tua now getting aggressive, trying to find Weepix, and the stun onto Weepix takes them out. Weepix falls to Tua, and then the Fire Strike onto Citrus. It's just becoming a real struggle now for Getting Creative as Metrics are just getting aggressive. However, Marsh does take out 2 as they fall to the Fire Strike, so we might see Getting Creative getting aggressive now. And yeah, Weepix just running through, but then Nano Reinhardt, really scary. Cassidy's Deadeye doesn't get much of any value, but Tua is able to keep fighting on this payload as they decide they're going to take this fight. Amplification Matrix comes out and a shield blocks a shatter. Dragon Strike from Marsh is going to mean that Iso does get demexed, but the kill doesn't come through yet. Jay now throwing a Dragon Strike out themselves, but the Deadeye from Cassidy. Yoshi taking out Weepix here, and the rally by A200 is just going to mean that this fight in the back room lives a little bit longer, but Marsh does the work and confirms the kill onto Sag, which will give Getting Creative a bit more space.
Yeah, Lag's aggressive style on this Lucio was very important in that fight. Got a couple of good kills. Not to mention Marsh also got a bit of the action there, getting 2 just before the fight began. And as we begin right now, the Nuvo was able to pick up kill on Yoshi as the bomb comes out.
Yeah, self-destruct, not really connecting onto too much, unfortunately. Getting Creative, trying to find some kind of way to open up this fight. Remake from Ana, so now Ana is able to start building up a little bit more ultimate percentage towards their own self-destruct. But Marsh taking out Jay, and Ana flying through Sag. This could be the couple of kills they need to be able to just push through the remaining fight. Self-destruct comes out as everyone is taken out from that team kill. And they do manage to get the point in overtime.
Yeah, we're going to see round 3 and round 4 there. Both teams had really good pushes, very close the entire way through. But Metrics are going to have the time advantage here, and who knows, that might be very crucial throughout this fight, unless, of course, Getting Creative can just get a really good steamroll going on with an overtime push.
My question is, can Getting Creative get creative? They do seem to like what they're running so far, and because of that, it's forcing Metrics to be the team that's getting creative by having to swap to try and counter Marsh, to counter all these different picks they're playing. And Metrics are making it work. So I think now that they've found their style, they found that sort of way to counter what Getting Creative are throwing at them, it kind of comes back to getting creative to bring the pressure again.
Now, Metrics are certainly getting creative with this hold. Look at that. A very, very, very team synergized comp they've got right now. The Bull, the Diva, Tracer, Sombra, Zen, Brig. A little bit different to what they've been running so far, but hopefully we can see some excellent value out of this. I'm very excited to see what they can do here against a Rush comp.
And it's gonna be probably trying to just run over what they see, but when they see everything everywhere, it might be hard to run them over. However, it could mean that one or two quick picks comes through. Sombra unfortunately getting sighted in the Sonic Arrow now means that Ana knows it's time to spam your shots everywhere, and they do find JJ forced to go back to their relocator here, and now because of that, Nanuvo finds Yoshi so quickly. This play may not have been the choice, is now getting creative, holding point already. They're already starting to take a couple of ticks, and in King's Row, you want to be able to cap, quickly, and with Marsh taking out 2, it looks like that's going to be the case as this point comes through really quickly.
It might not have been the greatest play for the Metrics. They do have 13 seconds left before overtime kicks in, and that's when their ults can come in really well. Jay is swapped on to the Hanzo to deal some damage there. It's must be Sag going for angle as well. Though you see right now, Jay taking out the Nuvo really early on into this fight.
And then with the 2 tanks diving the payload, trying to take out Lag, Lucio playing on point, forces the remaining players of getting creative to come back to payload. However, Marsh on the Hanzo taking out Jay, and Ana taking out Tua. It could be enough for getting creative to continue pushing this a little bit further. They just want to make as much progress as possible, and the Amplification Matrix and Dragons is going to give them a lot of space to continue pushing.
Yeah, good stuff there. The Dragon, another one of those set spots. It's just so good. It's just, you can't even push through when it's just so much damage piling through that choke point. It's also splitting them up a lot though. But they're getting close to the ults now, Metrics, and that's going to be the difference maker for them here. They've got the trans out now when the Deadeye is coming in from Maneuver.
And a pulse bomb gets eaten by Ana. It's getting really difficult for Metrics to find any value. Self-destruct taking out Sag, but finally the value comes through. Marsh trying to keep this fight alive, but Jay says no. Self-destruct, and that just pushes everyone off point, so that Metrics are able to hold it just around the first bend of King's Row.
Marsh from that Hanzo able to get some picks there, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. Just all the ults came out at once, and it was just too much for getting creative to handle. That really creative comp from the Metrics paid off this time around, but hopefully they can get a push in with their little bit extended time bank.
Yeah, having an extra 43 seconds is important to be able to try and get a quicker cap. However, we have to mention getting creative on their defense managed to hold Metrics all the way to overtime before Metrics finally captured that first point. So if getting creative are able to do that, or even if they're able to full hold, then getting creative essentially have won the map. Getting creative have put themselves in a great spot considering the history of King's Row so far.
Yeah, they went back to what worked last time. Marsh back on the Doomfist, but Metrics look ready. They're running that counter comp that they've been using so far, but they're going to be swapping off of it. The BAP and the Lucio more of a traditional rush now. They need to do well in this push if they want any chance of winning this map.
Yeah, it's all about time, and Lucio just gives them enough speed to get through quickly. I think it's a smart call here, but we'll see how effective it is. Now we see Izo going up onto the high ground, just trying to look around, see if there's anybody available to take out, especially maybe a Cheeky Doomfist. Cheeky Doomfist now initiating onto Sag, and yep, immediate early pick, then finds Tuatha, so that is just going to be a devastating quick collapse of Metrix's first attack.
The Doomfist coming out when needed, it seems. Marsh really doing well there to understand what exactly they needed to pick, and then doing well to just really perform on it so far, where it's just all been Marsh when he's on this Doomfist.
And it was effective enough that now it's basically back to even. A minute remaining for Metrics, and that's what Getting Creative had to work with. So Metrics are now at that Getting Creative level, and with an amplification Matrix coming out early, Jay does find Marsh. So they've taken out that main player, and because of that, they're able to get a bit more aggressive here, finally take a bit of point presence, and yes, Izo takes out Weepix Kid. It was all about just making sure they call out where Marsh is, take them out quickly, and now that they've been taken out, they're good to go.
They still got time on the clock here before overtime kicks in. It might be very important here, but overtime will kick in before they reach that final fight. We might be just seeing Getting Creative, waiting for that point as we see them setting up directly onto that overtime. No, they are going to be pushing up though to hold the next choke though.
The Dragon Strike, however, puts a lot of pressure, splits up Getting Creative, but not enough aggression coming out from Metrics to try and collapse onto some of those split up players. Because of that, we do see Getting Creative able to play by this archway, and this archway is such a good place to hold and potentially get a fight win here. It's all about just getting a good shatter, connects onto enough of the plays, but Tua is also working hard here, and I think Tua is going to show them that they are the dominant Ryan right now as Ana gets demeched, and this payload can continue pushing along. It's such a long walk. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to touch Vocalize. That
team kill was so important that Tua just pushed past Weepix and then shattered the rest of his team. Excellent work from him. The Diva Bomb comes out. No one's going to touch. There you go, Metrics take at this point.
I love the wee BM sort of ultimate usage, like, well, we've won the fight. I don't need it anymore. Let's throw it into the air. And Tua showing dominant performance on this Reinhardt, so I think well deserved this play of the game. And yeah, we've got a series on our hand. Getting Creative were looking really good at the start of King's Row, but Metrics did manage to bring it back in the nick of time.
Yeah, just clutch plays all around there from Metrics in order to just get that win. Very important stuff with him. It's going to be important to keep that momentum going throughout the next round, which I believe is going to be an escort map, which is going to be Getting Creative's pick.
Yep, absolutely right. Getting Creative, able to choose between 3 maps: Junkertown, Watchpoint, Gibraltar, or Dorado. And so, once again, Vocalize pitching you the question, what map do you think Getting Creative should choose, especially knowing they like to run this Doomfist on Marsh?
Doomfist is kind of working in any sort of environment at the moment, so realistically they could pick any single one of these. They could be going for that dive comp and play that Doom and Dorado, and any other map they could be running that. The other 2 maps they could be running that Rush. So it's particularly up to them, really. I mean, we haven't seen too much dive yet, and I wouldn't put it past them to just go pick that dive, or just we might just see them stick that Rush. I mean, we're gonna find out in a couple seconds, but yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they choose. And I think map picks in a situation like this where both teams are looking so dominant is potentially one of the most important things, because you want to be choosing the map that you are most confident in, you know that you can play really well, so that you can make sure Metrics or just an opposing team of any kind can't take a map point away from you. Now it does look like it looks like they're choosing Dorado, not 100% sure, but it looks like they're opting for Dorado, which I respect, because there's a lot of high ground for Doomfist to run around, and there's a lot of potential flanks as well for Doomfist, so might be a good map for Marsh.
Yeah, it's definitely mixing up the play a little bit. We saw Tua do really well on that Reinhardt thus far, but we might be able to see a bit more of a monkey or a ball situation with all these high grounds coming in. Very good verticality on this first point that needs to be used, so a little bit of a change in pace in the next map.
Yeah, and just before we jump into it, it looks like we're going to just take a wee little break here, just so that some teams can just head to the bathroom and everything like that. So we will be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We are back for our ASCENT Season 5 Week 4 first match of the night, Getting Creative versus MET1CKS. So far, what we've seen is Getting Creative and MET1CKS going really head-to-head, both teams taking 1 point each so far, and now moving into Escort, we're jumping into Dorado. Vocalize, we've spoken a little bit about Dorado, but I think we focus a lot on Getting Creative. What do you think MET1CKS are going to be looking for when they opt for when they run on Dorado?
I mean, so far from their DPS and just everyone in general, we've only seen anyone play dive, really Ana and Izoyashi both playing that diva, but Marsh has been on the Doomfist. We talked about how that'd be changing the pace a bit, running a bit more dive. And probably MET1CKS will be running the same. They get to attack first, so they get to dictate the pace of the play really early on in Dorado.
Yeah, I think dictating that pace is so important. I mean, even though Getting Creative, they did a really solid hold on King's Row, the fact that MET1CKS were able to take it and then run it down the streets of King's Row really showed us that they are really dominant in terms of a really good push. So I think if MET1CKS can now do the same thing on Dorado, just do a dominant push, take payload, and run with it, they might show us potentially a really quick cap, because to me it did seem like the big struggle was just capping that first little beautiful square of King's Row.
If it's anything like the last couple maps, it's going to be a close one, even if they're running that dive. I'm pretty sure both these teams are very, very adept in, of course, running all these different types of comps. We saw that kind of ball comp come out there on King's Row, which definitely did get them the win, using all those ults in those rounds 3 and 4. They might be looking for the same thing. We've seen it running once, they might run it again.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna, because they did that cheeky little weird defensive comp where, you know, they ran the Sombra, they ran the Tracer, they ran the Wrecking Ball and the Diva, and it sort of was just a pseudo dive to try and get picks quick so that the attack wasn't going to work out. And it did end up working out for them a little bit, especially on Streets phase. They managed to just get a couple of picks and win the fight. Do you think we might see that on Dorado?
Yeah, most likely. They're going to be probably sticking to what's working right now from both these teams, actually. Just playing more as a team seems to be working for the side of MET1CKS, just getting picks where they can and pushing together. Getting Creative, definitely relying on their DPS as of right now, as well as their main tank. Don't count him out. But it's definitely an even matchup so far.
Yeah, I think both teams are looking really solid. Getting Creative, playing really well on Lijiang Tower, and the MET1CKS figuring out. I think the big break for MET1CKS was just figuring out countering Marsh, doing some really good calls. It seemed like they were constantly then just onto Marsh, finding where Marsh was and taking them out quickly. And because of that, MET1CKS were able to do a really dominant push here. We're now jumping into Dorado, so once again all our questions will be answered in just a few seconds.
Yeah, definitely. I think they will probably run something similar to dive because of all that verticality, especially on those first and second points. I mean, third's a bit more enclosed, but definitely by that point you're probably just going to stick to what you're running. But in about 18 seconds we're going to see what both these teams run here.
And realistically, I think the best solution, at least so far that we've seen, we don't know how TTK and Izo run a sort of dive with Winston Diva, and they are gonna choose it. Meanwhile, on the defense, we see Sigma Wrecking Ball. So really interesting choices. Marsh on the Tracer. How do you think these team comps are gonna size up against each other?
It's a bit of a half-half thing happening there for Getting Creative. Certainly Getting Creative with their team comp now, finally, as we can see, three of them going for more dive-centric, being Lag, Marsh, and Wheatbix, and then the other one staying a bit more stationary, a bit more together, Citrus, Nuvo, and Ana. On this side, we got more of a conventional dive, though, with a double flex support, double end support, Citrus and Sag. Oh, we're going to see a Brig now on the other side.
They're really scared of Marsh's Doomfist, opting to run the Ana Brig just in case they need to counter it. Fortunately, there is no Doomfist on the field right now as Marsh is on the Tracer. Early jump onto high ground, pushing, getting creative off the high ground and back to that traditional sort of last balcony before the archway of Dorado. And because of that, MET1CKS is making some great space, really able to push up. Marsh now fighting on this payload, going to try and put some pressure onto the supports, but an Ana Brig sort of support line is really hard for Tracer. Meanwhile, Yoshi's Tracer takes out Weet1k's Kid, losing essentially the main tank of getting creative. It's going to be hard for getting creative to hold.
And having that echo allows Yoshi to do so much work. The beam does so much damage. Yoshi can pick up those kills, and that's exactly what happened to the Weet1k's Kid, and that's a bit unfortunate for them. But as you can see right now, Marsh in the backline doing the same thing, getting Sag early on.
There we go, and that's what Marsh was looking for. Now A200 falling, Ana taking them out, and that is just going to be a really solid defense, throwing them all the way back to spawn.
Yeah, great work from them to turn over that so quickly. Moving very patiently forward with that dive, just waiting out their time there, and then suddenly just turn on their heads very quickly. No Brig in sight to help out Sag, and Marsh picks up the goods.
Now with the position this payload is in, it's going to be really hard for MET1CKS to find an executed dive because you've got so much sort of space that you have to try and push up. Deadeye comes out by Nanuvo, but gets stunned, so can't get much value. The duplicated Cassidy from Jay is putting in a lot of good work right now. Jay taking out Ana, and there's the duplicated Deadeye. A really good Cassidy duplication from Jay confirms that first point capture.
Wow, the Jay play there certainly was the star showing that. He swapped Duke to the cast, stunned him out of the ultimate, and was killed 4 casually, and now Jay is going onto the Cassidy himself after such great work on it beforehand.
Yeah, Jay obviously found their new hero to play and opting to run it. You do see Jay seeing Marsh, knowing that Marsh is all the way in the back line, and Jay is just keeping an eye on them, and because of that, Marsh can't put as much pressure as they'd like, and this payload can continue to push along. Gravitic Flux comes out, but doesn't connect onto anyone. Minefield comes through to try meet some people slamming to the ground, but if there's no one slamming to the ground, that is 2 ultimates effectively removed from the playfield without any sort of value. Rally by 200 is going to make it really hard for Weet1k's Kid to survive this fight. And yeah, you see the Brig just run after Weet1k's. Weet1k's falling very quickly, and this payload has been moving without much contention.
I think we're going to be starting seeing a lot more of DPS take over this game so far. Jay and Marsh have been outstanding, as well as Nuba and Yoshi. You see right there, Nuba taking out Jay really early on. It's going to be so important coming into defense now.
Look at that, getting creative responded so quickly. But one thing I have to point out, I really like how quickly MET1CKS fall back. They notice 1 or 2 picks are gone, let's just fall back and reset. I respect that.
And it's not wasting any time, using everything possible. They learned from the last time where they had that slither of hope. They want to make sure that they can dominate this map, dominate the time bank, and if it goes to rounds 3 and 4, they have definite advantage.
Now Nanoed Winston up on the high ground, chasing down Nanuvo, gets taken out. Sound barrier has to come through to keep any remaining players of getting creative alive right now, and it is working out. Pulse Bomb takes out 200 MS, and losing a Brig could be a valuable pick. Marsh putting in a lot of work, taking out the supports, and because of that, oh no, it's just not enough as MET1CKS do manage to cap.
A bit unfortunate there for getting creative, but MET1CKS, the dive, the Nana Monkey was very, very crucial for that fight win. Picking up picks early is what's the big difference in these dives right now. Picking them off one by one, and just as they're very, very split. But to resolve this issue, we have Nanuvo going on to the Reaper.
I like that pick. Reaper can put a lot of pressure onto the Winston that's jumping in your face. Amplification Matrix comes out by Citrus, but they have to turn around to look at the Primal Raging Winston. However, Arna on the Sigma, putting in a lot of work, a good boulder onto Sag, and that is pretty Sag if I do say so myself. But, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a hold for Getting Creative there.
Yeah, Getting Creative, 2 tanks. Synergizing very well, using both their ults at the same time, fluxing them up into the sky, dropping them back into the bombs, and that's what allowed Arna to get those 2 kills. Really onto that fight. Great team play in that team fight.
Now, METR1CKS are back pretty quickly, and they're already pushing this payload. The whole team isn't ready, but they're opting to commit. Self-destruct coming out, connects onto Citrus, and Yoshi taking out Marsh with a good punch. This could be what opens it up for METR1CKS to take it all the way. However, Arna taking out TTK could be really good as well here. The rally from 200 means that Nanuvo is taken out of this fight, and now it's going to come down to Tracer to come and get a touch. Weepix also joining in on the fight, and it looks like there's 4 back for this defense from Getting Creative, just desperately trying to find some value. Marsh's Pulse Bomb might be the value required. However, TTK taking out Lag. It's such a back and forth fight right now, and that Bob coming out from Jay is going to make it really hard. Nanuvo commits a Death Blossom into really not much value, unfortunately, as Jay's Bob puts in a lot of work to just make sure METR1CKS do cap it with a minute 43.
Raid Boss getting a couple kills, Jay getting a couple kills, TTK getting a couple kills. That's all you really need to close up that fight. You only need 6. And that's what happened right there, and that was why they were able to cap that point with a pretty solid time bank, quite similar to what they had before.
Yeah, I'm glad to see METR1CKS really did bring on that dominance payload performance that I sort of expected from them. However, Getting Creative, they are good at winning these team fights, just getting 1 or 2 early picks. So I think once again, it just comes down to talking about how METR1CKS recognize once they're 1 or 2 picks out, we just need to fall back. We don't want to give them more ult charge. We don't want to waste any time. And I'm really liking it from METR1CKS.
Yeah, the dive play was very good. They're not rushing it. They're not trying to cap as immediately as they can. They're taking their time. They're finding the people who to take out, and they're doing it. And that's why they capped there. Really well done. And as you said, the dive has been so powerful for them, and they're trying to continue that on this defense.
Yeah, this defense, I think the question becomes, how do we stop Arna from doing so much damage? Because there's a lot of spam damage that comes out from a Sigma player, and Arna has consistently been the one that gets a couple of picks to really confirm a team fight. So being able to counter Arna, I mean, early nade makes it that Arna loses a little bit of health. That could be a good start. However, we've got TTK in the backline supported by Izo, just trying to slow down this payload, do a bit of damage, but Weepix taking out Yoshi. It could be devastating. Citrus now takes out TTK. 2 picks early. This payload can start to progress as Citrus is putting in a lot of work right now. Slam onto Sag. Nanuvo follows it up, and yeah, that is just really dominant performance by Getting Creative so far.
The importance of taking high ground, that's all I can say there. Citrus did really well in order to just get in there, do the business that he had to. High ground, take out 2 people. There you go. There's the team fight win. Then we move on and we just cap point. But they might be able to get this little contest on now. Here we go. METR1CKS starting a team fight.
A really good stun comes out by 200, puts a lot of pressure onto Arna. However, the Sigma gets enough support to stay alive. Nanuvo finding Jay with a really good headshot, and the Amplification Matrix coming out by Citrus. Citrus deserves the Amplification Matrix from the amount of damage they were doing earlier, and you can see so much value coming out of it. Marsh putting in a lot of work, and now with just Izo getting demexed, that point will be confirmed fairly quickly for Getting Creative.
I think METR1CKS having a bit more trouble now taking their time with these engages and picking off who's in out of position. It's a bit more difficult to do this dive tactic on defense. Trying to accommodate this defense. They've gone Yoshi now onto the McCree.
Now, I think matching the McCree is a smart pick here. Rally comes out early by 200, and the aggression is just beautiful. Bix pops a minefield on the high ground, but everyone's already dropped from the aggression, so the minefield's not going to get too much value unless someone walks backwards. However, Jay's Pulse Bomb is looking good. TTK now finding Ana, and that is just going to be a confirmed defense for Metrics.
Yeah, a couple kills there. Very good swap there from Yoshi going to Cassidy. Early onto the fight. Fixes up everything. There you go, and they're just going to set up back on this high ground. Really well done from them.
Yeah, I think they know how to do a dive really well. Metrics can execute this dive perfectly. They know how to be aggressive, and then they know when to pull back. However, as I say that, TTK is forced to pop a primal just to stay alive. Sound barrier comes out, and now there's a self-destruct coming through by Izo. Self-destruct doesn't really connect onto much, but Yoshi connects onto the head of Marsh here. Tracer getting taken out of the fight right now by Cassidy. TTK finding Citrus, and now a Deadeye from Yoshi up on the high ground. The Cassidy ult doesn't come through, but does manage to find a Nuvo in the end. Another defensive hold.
Yeah, now that the map has a bit more verticality for this dive, you know, Metrics are doing a lot better now. The Cassidy swap-off has been very, very good thus far, getting picks every single fight, but TTK has been a standout so far. Getting in there, taking the dives, getting the picks. Exactly what he needs to do, and he's doing it again right now. You got the nano boost to go with it.
The nano boosted TTK, a scary sight to behold, and Lag finds the full force of it, unfortunately falling, and yeah, that's another really good hold. Metrics now showing us just really good gameplay.
Yeah, we saw the perfect dive right there. You saw Azo come in with TTK, and that was all it took. Nuvo killing Yoshi early though, and then popping a high noon. Good space there, finally taking him off the high ground.
Yeah, really good Deadeye, making sure that they just can't be on the high ground. However, Metrics now wrapping back. Minefield forced onto the high ground. Getting creative, just want them off this upper ground level. They don't want to see them playing up high because they can't do much damage to them. However, now this payload is nearly about to cap. It is going to force Metrics to start fighting on the payload. Primal Rage comes through by TTK, throwing Nanuvo all the way into the back of this Dorado. Second point here gets absolutely demolished by an angry monkey here. And because of that, the rest of Getting Creative have to fall back just to try and support him, and Ana falls. The self-destruct's thrown out, doesn't connect onto much, but it looks like Metrics are going to hold it.
TTK is certainly bringing the hold into the team, putting the team on his back and carrying them to glory right now. You saw that Primal, he just got that one kill, he dived back in, get another, and that was the fight done. Even with all of his team down, he's picking up the goods.
Yeah, TTK really showing a good performance on this Winston, and I like to see it, you know. They're really putting a lot of pressure onto Getting Creative, and look at that, they burnt off nearly, 4 minutes of time bank. So because of that, they've made so much value, even if they manage to cap point in the end. So much value comes through. Deadeye, Amplification Matrix, Flux, all being forced to use just to try and confirm this point. And meanwhile, TTK is still getting kills. TTK finally taken out by Nanuvo, but that was such... I think even if the point gets capped, that was a win for Metrics.
Finally, they stop him in that backline. TTK getting nano, going in, getting 2 more kills, and then diving onto the point. Quite the hero moves that they're making right now. Unfortunate they didn't get that point win. We're going to see more verticality, more diving on this point now.
Marsh trying to go on a flank onto the high ground, but when there's a monkey and a giant robot mech meeting you face on, you're probably not going to commit too quickly. Winston diving in, TTK putting a lot of pressure on the payload, and yeah, Ana is feeling it. Forced to use a couple of good abilities just to try to stay alive, and forced all the way back as well. Ana now does find Jay, however, and because of that, it does look like Metrics are going to fall back and just regroup a little bit.
Yeah, another one of knowing when to engage and disengage. They're doing it right now. Really well done to know exactly when to go in when to get out. You see them getting picked now. Saz picking up on Marsh, and you can see 200 in the back just trying to take out the Nuvo. Doesn't get any luck at this time around.
Now, TTK's got the nano, and is going to try to take this fight, even though 200 isn't around to throw some armor packs to stay alive. Gravitic Flux onto Sag. Sag survives with a sliver of HP, and is having to fall so far back, doesn't want to get found and taken out. 200 is now back for this fight, but because it's a constant sort of 4v6, it is looking good for Getting Creative as they continue to just get a couple of good picks, and this payload can continue progressing along. A pile driver onto TTK as they try to get away. Doesn't get the kill, but puts so much pressure.
Time bank differential being an issue once again here for Getting Creative. They're going to have to do something good here. I think they are going to get this capped now. But we're going to have to see in these round 3 and 4s once again what they can do.
We get a Primal Rage onto Payload and then Nano onto Iso as well. It does look like Metrics don't want to give up the point just yet. At least going to try to get it to 0 seconds. But Arna and Marsh are putting a lot of good work with the help of an amplification high ground. They do manage, yeah, it looks like Getting Creative managed to cap, but Metrics push it down to 0 seconds.
Yeah, well done for them. Incredible play to be able to get them down to that 1 minute time bank. But it all matters on this round now, right? The attack is coming in for Getting Creative. If they push it far, then it's going to be very difficult for Metro to come back. Just good defense is all they need, and Getting Creative has delivered a good defense.
Now, I think you're exactly right. Getting Creative are very good at knowing how to defend, and so it'll be interesting to see whether they can perform a really good push again. They need to do a really quick push like they did at the start to make sure that the time bank they have gets as much value as possible. And Metrics just need to make sure they don't get picked off. Jay, back onto the Echo. I liked seeing the Echo at the start before. What do you think about that?
And the potential kill confirmed is like arguably stronger than Doomfist with that riot clip. Just pressing E, just annihilating tanks in mere seconds is going to be so important for them. And I think that's what they're going for, maybe getting a Echo on either Weepix or Ana. With all that health just going down, it's going to just really just pummel their push and make them go back to spawn.
60 seconds.
Now that is exactly what Metrics are hoping for. Go right back to spawn, Getting Creative. A pile driver onto the high ground early by Weepix Kid gives a fair bit of ult charge, and that could be valuable. Getting a minefield to just make it so that this payload can get a little bit more progress could be good. And Anuvo taking out Jay early, a really good headshot. Yoshi does find Marsh, but realistically, that death can come back pretty quickly because your spawn is right there, and you're a tracer. You're super fast. So, yeah, you see it right now. Getting Creative, getting aggressive, being able to push this payload pretty far already.
Yeah, Jay not being able to get the value that they probably would have liked during that, just getting picked up so early and getting sent back to spawn. They're just going to have to let this point slide and go back to where they were really strong. This second point defense, maybe they are going to try and contest it. They're going to bring it down to an overtime, but I don't think it's likely for a win there as the Nuva gets picked on Yoshi.
Oh, really good pulse bomb. That could open it up for Metrics. They just need a couple more picks and to push them off the payload. But Citrus and Marsh are not out of this fight just yet. And Citrus and Marsh, they seem to be able to come through clutch when the situation is dire, and that's exactly what's happening once again. This overtime push is being only stalled now by a Diva and a Tracer, and they do manage to get the first point.
Now it's going to be super crucial for Metric to set up on the high ground and be ready for the next engage. Getting Creative's kind of 3-3 kind of comp right now is devastating to play against in a brawl compared to the dive, and that's kind of where they've won so far. But Mine's come out on that high ground trying to force them off it.
200 just held their shield up inside the minefield, said, nah, I don't care, whatever, do whatever you want, managed to survive. But now, a Primal Nano Monkey is going to be pushing people around on this payload, making sure that Getting Creative just gets up the payload. However, a pulse bomb from Marsh stops TTK from putting in the work. Self-destruct, that could be what confirms the kills. There is a really good remake kill and a self-destruct kill, but Nanuvo and Lag are going to put in enough work to keep pushing.
Aoyashi put in the work, but it wasn't enough to seal the deal. Yeah, you know that Weebix is going to get there pretty quickly on that ball. But we're getting close to a duplicate now. We're going to see how important this ult is in the grand scheme of things. Maybe a Sig 9 coming here. Oh, he's going to do the Tracer.
Lag got really over aggressive, and all of Metrics recognized it and took them out quickly. Pile driver onto the high ground. Stun doesn't connect on, and now TTK on that Winston is going to be able to what is able to win Metrics that hold just before the end of second point.
Yeah, it turned out the duplicate was very important during that fight. Got the Tracer in, 2 Tracers in the back line. Very difficult to do anything like that, but TTK bringing it the goods once again with that dive. Getting all the picks required, and that was all she wrote. Now all they're going to do is push it that far.
And push is what Metrics have shown us they're able to do. I mean, 2-minute 36 time bank, that's plenty of time to push it basically a point and a half almost. And so if Metrics can keep up this performance, they should be able to take Dorado. We do know Getting Creative know how to hold. They're able to play that really solid defense. And I mean, Getting Creative chose this map, so you would think they'd have some kind of strategy to be able to win it out, but Metrics are just looking a little bit more solid so far.
They definitely do have a strategy. I think this Metrics just had just something prepared for all those kind of maps where they could be put in the situation, and having that dives focused kind of comp has just been so important and been getting them so much value. TTK on this map especially with Yoshi and Jay as well, just doing so much work in their backline.
Now, yeah, still choosing to run the Echo, so I respect it. You know, Echo can pump out a lot of damage, as you said. So Jay working hard to just make sure 1 or 2 picks come through is exactly what you need. Yoshi now getting up and aggressive onto Ana. Has to fall back as Ana does recognize and is going to put a bit of pressure, but this payload is going to keep on moving. You see Getting Creative, they decided to fall back to that sort of almost all the way to final fight location. Interesting call. They just want the whole team together.
And they kept pushing through, making space, just not even allowing them to come even close to that point right now. Really good work. They're keeping 3 on at most times, just getting as much momentum as possible going forward.
Now Marsh taking out Jay, that could unlock a really good defense here for Getting Creative. Just a couple more picks need to come through, and the Nuvo's going to be the one that does it, taking out Sag. And then the Amplification Matrix is going to get those final couple of kills. And now that the payload is stopped, the pressure is on for Metrics to be able to win a team fight and keep pushing.
And that is the kind of saving grace of the time period they had in the first round. It's just not one and done. They do get more time to push on and have more fights until overtime, of course, ticks over. On the other side, though, Getting Creative only had 1 overtime. 1 minute before they had overtime, rather. So it's going to be very crucial for Metrics here.
Now TTK getting the nano, getting aggressive. Deadeye is a response to make sure that TTK can't play as aggressively as they would like to. Pulse Bomb comes into the back line, puts a bit of pressure onto the immortality from Citrus, and now a self-destruct onto, oh, a huge self-destruct from Izo, taking out 3. And if you want to confirm a team fight, that's the way to do it, as they are able to cap point.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Late on, 30 seconds left, and you just catch them out of position like that. Aoyashi done so well to get that 3K, just putting the team on their back for that last point. But 20 seconds in, gonna hit overtime before they hit this last point.
Getting Creative are still in this. There's still a fair distance to push before Metrics hits that beautiful golden box that they call home. Now, Winston trying to jump up onto the high ground, doesn't manage to, but Jay popping the duplicate onto Sigma. Sigma removed so quickly. Their duplicate was removed just as quickly as the button was pressed. And it looks like TTK and Izo are struggling to get up onto the high ground because there's so many good booms back from lag. Deadeye comes out by Nanuvo and helps with an amplification matrix, means that Izo is going to be taken out. Citrus takes out TTK, and it's not looking good for Metrics, as all that is left is a 200 MS, and they're not able to hold. Getting Creative
Wow.
managed to hold it.
What a way to turn the tides. Quite incredible stuff. Great defense from them, Getting Creative. Using this more unorthodox style comp to get the job done. Bit unfortunate for Metrics, but they get the pick now on the 2CP map.
And what a beautiful play from Izo right here. I mean, if that's a way to try and keep this fight alive, I don't know what else is. So, really, really good stuff. But Getting Creative managed to come back on their map choice just on time. Even with a worse time bank, they managed to hold really well and got them the map.
Yeah, exactly what you need. A good defense there. Did exactly what they did, what Metrics did to Getting Creative in that first round onto them. A good hold on that high ground was all that was required to seal the deal. Really great stuff there. It just proves that you don't need the bigger time banks, get the dub.
Yeah, exactly right. Sometimes you just need to make sure that you say, this is my high ground, and every time the monkey tries to jump up, you throw them back down with a boop. Now, we're moving into the good old classic Assault, or more commonly known as 2CP. Our three choices are Temple of Anubis, Hanamura, or Volskaya. Where do you think we're going?
I mean, more dive centric, I reckon. I think the more Hanamura option and Volskaya definitely more rush based. I mean, you can run that dive on Volskaya, but I think Anubis is going to be the one picked here. Just both teams, I think, prefer that kind of style of rushing through, picking off targets, and maybe playing a bit more central with their supports, playing a bit back and just playing sightlines.
Yeah, I think Temple of Anubis could be a smart choice here. I mean, realistically, all the 2CP maps can kind of give value to any of the comps they want to play, whether it's that rush or that more dive style here. So I think it's a smart choice by Metrics. It could, of course, be our classic curse here at AOEsports of a bit of Temple of Draw Nubis. So you never really know. Hopefully we don't see a draw, but it might come out. Stranger things have happened here on AOEsports, especially in Ascent.
A 6 mapper might be a bit interesting. 5 maps would also be nice as well, but Metrics can, or Getting Creative rather, can, seal this up here.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like it's going to be a really fun matchup here. I mean, both teams have been putting in a lot of work to give us a good show, and it's been really good so far. Hopefully, Metrics put on a good defense and attack so that they can take this point and not be removed from the series. Getting Creative, all they need is to win this map and they will be up and winning our first series of the night.
Yeah, 3-1 would be comfortable for them, but it's not over yet for Metrics. They can bring it back to the map 5, or a draw would be leading us into maybe a map 5 or a map 6 even thriller.
Yeah, that could be a lot of fun to see. A map 6 would be... I don't think it's been a first on stream for AOEsports in general, but I think for season 5 of Ascent it would be a first. So it'll be pretty exciting to see if it does happen. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. We've got Temple of Anubis to come through here, and look at Marsh. Marsh is back on their signature hero Doomfist.
He's doing a little bit of a reprise of the role he played in the first 2 maps. The Doomfist is going to be very, very influential, I think, on this point. Early on, getting those picks is going to be super important, but we are going to have a pause here.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to quickly pause up, and whilst they do that, let's just run through these team comps that we can currently see and see whether anything's different, anything strange. I mean, Jay on the Genji, so far we haven't seen a Genji in our games. So if Jay commits to this Genji, what do you think that's going to handle against getting creative?
I mean, it's classic Genji style, going for nanoblades and all that. Just getting those kills is so important. Getting those team wipes, you can just wipe up teams with that, but you have to be careful of the CC that Getting Creative had with both the DPS to stun out the flashbang rather from Cassidy, and then the punch can just annihilate your blade from existence with Marsh on that Doomfist could be a big issue.
Yeah, it looks like Getting Creative, they're still wanting to run the classic Sigma Wrecking Ball that they ran on Dorado. The major difference is just Marsh on this Doomfist trying to get quick picks here, and with a Wrecking Ball to help out with that, we could see like a Seismic Slam pile drive just absolutely demolish someone if they combo it together well enough. But it's all up in the air right now, as it looks like MET1CKS, they're trying to jump onto the high ground. A really good nade followed up by the dive means that there's so much damage going onto Ana. There is enough peel to keep Ana alive, but Marsh falls to Yoshi here, and because of that, this could be a very, very quick push for MET1CKS. We see Getting Creative falling back to the point. They don't want to lose this, at least in record time, but Jay taking out Citrus. All that heal's gone. That's going to be really good for MET1CKS to just get aggressive now. And you can see them pushing them up the staircase, making sure that any sort of remaining stragglers of Getting Creative get taken out.
Yeah, Marsh falling so early onto that fight really did the number for them. Jay and Yoshi also doing a lot of work, just getting in that back line, dealing damage, getting those kill confirms. Jay especially doing a very good job in that back line. They're going to have the Nano Blade up very shortly, though. Might just seal the deal on 2CP very quickly.
We could see a bit of a snowball effect come out. Nano Blade, Pulse Bomb, and there isn't really much to counteract it. Deadeye, maybe. An Amplification Matrix, possibly. Here comes the Nano Blade. Nano Blade getting aggressive, but not finding the picks required here. Can't take out anybody, but TTK is going to take out Citrus. Iso follows up onto Weepix, but with Jay taken out, there's a bit of damage removed from the board. Marsh going in for a punch, trying to find someone to kill, but the rally coming out by 200 is going to put so much pressure. And look at that, 2 ticks already, nearly 3. Nobody can even touch. 5 minutes, 9 seconds.
Wow. They are not going down without a fight, aren't they? They're really showing off what they can do. Plus 1 minute. Are you kidding me?
Initiating.
I'm actually just a little bit in shock right now. That is incredible. That was such a good performance by MET1CKS, and I think that's just the classic 2CP snowball. Is going to put a lot of work. It's going to put a lot of work for Getting Creative to try and match that time bank, let alone beat it. And I think Getting Creative have to get creative here as we see the Genji and Pharah come out.
Bit of an unorthodox comp once again. They've got no mercy to go with the Marsh Farah. Looking like the double flex once again. The Bap Ana. We didn't see it last time, but more of the dive centric comp now. A bit more traditional from Getting Creative, but with a twist.
That is, yeah, that is going to be interesting to see. Maybe this twist of Citrus might come through, but really, oh, no, they're not sure. They are going to go Genji Blade, opting for a bit of a Nano Blade here. Nanuvo on the Genji, Marsh on the Pharah with a Pharmacy as well. So this is going to be a lot of spam, a lot of pressure onto MET1CKS, but the picks have to come through quick. This cannot lag out. TTK trying to jump in, gets found early and takes a bit of damage, has to fall back to the rest of the team here. Jay trying to put in some work as well, but so far all the teams are just looking solid, trying to find an early pick. Weepix Kid getting trapped a little bit alone, has to fall back to the team, and I mean, it looks like Getting Creative, they just don't know where to look to unlock this first point here. And Iso finally taking a bit of pressure. Iso gets demec'd, isn't able to fall back to the rest of the team, but does manage to get into a safe position to stay alive as this we demec'd Diva here. But this push is just so slow, Vocalize.
It's definitely a more taking their time kind of push, but it definitely is paying off. They got the DMAC, they got a kill onto Saj, and There you go, they're finally pushing forward. T2K falls again. But it just took a little bit of time for them to cap in. They aren't even going to have the time bank that Metric have, but they still have a chance to stay in this and go to round 3 and 4.
Exactly right, especially with even just the stall that came through. That was really well played by Metrics, just holding perfectly.
Yeah, definitely. You saw the pharmacy doing work there, just so much damage, so much like suppression. Can't really do anything, it's just so much space being taken up by damage and splash damage. Get direct hit by that and it's all over, and you see the barrage in that right side.
Oh yeah,
Initiated
really.
so early, getting picks, they are not letting up here.
Yeah, it looks like Getting Creative are really trying to put in a lot of work here. However, Metrics, they're not down and out just yet. Self-Destruct and Primal both committed, but Weakfix also has a Primal of their own. Here comes the play, gets slapped! Oh no, Nanuvo! That is devastating to see, and now a Brig waiting for you to wake up. Oh no, this time bank is now gonna dissipate so quickly.
The fight win. They were hoping for something big with that, so unfortunate. Quite sad, actually, Nanuvo not getting exactly the kind of thing, kind of kills that he wanted with that. TTK's gone onto a ball now for a bit more stall-based fun.
And interesting, Nanuvo off the Genji onto the Reaper, really wanting to put pressure on the tanks here, and with TTK going onto Wrecking Ball, it might have been a smart call here. However, that Tracer is going to find a little bit more value now, being able to just really fight against these supports without that Genji to dash back and come through. Nanoed Winston onto Weepix Kid, gets stunned immediately by a rallying Brig, and that's going to put a little bit more pressure on the Winston to try stay alive. The anti-nade as well coming through by Sag there, and that just leads to, once again, another really good hold by Metrics.
By the time you think Getting Creative are going to win here, just Metric have an answer. It's quite incredible what they're doing on Anubis right now. We are going to get a pause here. Not sure what's going on, but it's going to give some time for Getting Creative to recuperate, try and get a strategy going with whatever ults they have left.
Yeah, and this time bank is starting to disappear for Getting Creative. 3 minutes 32 seconds to 5 minutes and 9 seconds. It's pretty scary to see realistically, in terms of Metrics are going to have a really good push no matter how you look at it next time. They've already got a minute and a half on them, and it's just a matter of, can Getting Creative take it quickly enough that the time bank isn't going to disappear completely.
When you saw there, Getting Creative did have a substantially lower time bank than them last round, but they were able to pick up the win, so hopefully if they cap with not an overtime, they will still have a chance here on 2CP.
Now, we've got Ana going up onto this, trying to push up onto the high ground. Didn't manage to find it because Izo is waiting up there. Now Weepix Kid getting pushed down as well. Izo making sure this high ground is theirs. Weepix trying to fight on the high ground, but now both of them have left it. They don't want to commit anymore, and that gives a little bit of room now for Getting Creative to push in. Wrecking Ball pops a minefield just into that entryway of the second point, but with Marsh, oh, look at that. That double self-destruct, not really getting too much value, but it was beautiful to see both divas just fighting the bombs face to face there. Getting Creative now, taking a bit of point presence here, and because of that, this point might start unlocking. They just need to get one tick to find a little bit of value in this push here. Marsh taking out both supports is gonna give a lot of value for Getting Creative to take out kills without any healing coming through. Jay on the duplicate as Diva, though, however, means that there's a few lives remaining for Jay right now. Deduplication happens, and Citrus finds a bunch of sticky bombs to the face, gets taken out, but Nanuvo pops a Death Blossom, takes out the Diva. Realistically, Getting Creative want to win this, but with this spawn advantage of Metrics, they're able to come back, and even though Marsh is putting in the work, they manage to hold it without giving up. Oh no, they do give up that single tick. Sorry.
Wow, that's just like an assault to 2 CP moment right there. So unfortunate, Marsh and Anuvo just getting picks left, right, and center, but they're always ready to come back on point. They're always ready to just stall it out for a couple more seconds before the rest of the team can get there. They've really slowed down the clock right now. They're going to have such a big advantage going into every next fight with all these ults online.
Now, once again, it's just a bit of battle of the high ground right now. Ana opting to swap onto this Roadhog now, and that could be a really good choice in terms of just getting quick picks. Jay getting slept means that it looks like pretty much all of Getting Creative are waiting to take Jay out. However, a pile driver onto Citrus and A200. You don't normally see a Brig take out a Pharaoh, but I guess it happened just then. It's putting in a lot of work. Nanuvo trying to keep this fight alive. Pulse Bomb comes out onto Ana, but because they're Roadhog, they can just take a breather and stay alive through it. Primal Rage by WeepixKid onto the point, but with once again the spawn advantage. There's only 3 for Getting Creative and now 6 for MET1CKS, and MET1CKS are able to throw a minefield onto the point. Even if they lose A200, MET1CKS are able to just come back so quickly. WeepixKid knows their fate, and now with 30 seconds left, it's looking desperate for Getting Creative.
Wow, the stall is just incredible right now. No matter how many picks the Nuvo got in that fight, like 2 or 3, they were able to just come back on and just clean up once again. Citrus takes out Jay really early on. Is that going to be enough for them to cap in this overtime situation?
10 seconds.
It's going to be interesting to see. They're going to try their darndest, that's for sure. TTK gets aggressive, but an anti-nade meets them. A sleeping nanoed monkey means that not much value is coming through, but there is a self-destruct on point taking out Marsh. Jay now finds WeepixKid opting for the Cassidy now to try and just confirm picks and take out this fight. Sleeping Hog on the point. Nanuvo's Deadeye doesn't get too much. Cassidy obviously working out for MET1CKS, but not so much for Getting Creative as this overtime ticks away, and MET1CKS decides to hold it and take us to a map 5, as this is now 2-2 in our first series of the night.
Yeah, and the momentum that they just gained going into that map 5 is going to be so important. 5 minutes on the clock on that attack, and they just shut down the defense so well here. We're seeing Lag of the Mercy play here, doing such a good job to keep his team up, damage boosting when he needed to. Danuvo was able to get 2 picks of that. Just really well played, but it just wasn't enough on this occasion.
I love that we saw a Mercy play of the game. I just want to say that. Generally you see the DPS play of the game, or a tank play of the game, or even like maybe a cheeky Zen or Lucio play of the game, but Mercy deserves more play of the games, let's be real. Now, moving into our last map choice of the night, it's control between Nepal or Oasis. I always mention this when we go into a map 5. The first team that won our control point was Getting Creative. So it is MET1CKS' fight to try and really push through and change the game plan so that they can win this control point. And what do you think MET1CKS has to do to try and win, especially that they're moving into Nepal in terms of map?
In Nepal, you can really do whatever you like, so they're just going to play what they enjoy, what they're best at, I reckon. We're going to be seeing probably Marsh and the Doomfist again in that rush kind of comp, maybe a Symmetra is involved, maybe a bit of dive again, but anything can happen on this last map. Don't count out Li Zhang from the equation though, like we saw Getting Creative. They have obviously a stronger rush just from those two, the starting 2 maps, but who knows? We might see a little bit of a turnaround.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's gonna be all up in the air as both of these teams have been so back and forth, so even, and they've really given us a good show. Quality, you know what, honestly, I do have to say this. Big shout out to the coaches, to the managers, to any of these teammates who A, came in at the last minute for us, and B, are now giving us such a good performance. Thank you to both of these teams for just really giving us a good match to watch.
Yeah, definitely quite the show on display. So all of these players have played expertly throughout the entire series. You know, both supports have just been outstanding, keeping up their teams. Both main tanks have been going at it. Such an interesting, 1v1 battle happening on Ryan and Monkey and Ball or whatever they're running, especially, not to mention these DPS, who have just been so crucial in getting these picks for their teams. Like, quite the difference makers for both these teams so far.
Ready for battle.
Now, it looks like we're back to the classic rush. We know Getting Creative are very good at it, especially on control. And, I mean, once again, that key thing to look at is Marsh on the Doomfist. Marsh has to just get 1 or 2 picks. Looks like they're going to opt for Symmetra, but probably just to tally out early to get a little bit more distance as they walk out of spawn. Jay doing the same thing here. And I think a key thing to look at as well is 200 on the Brig, trying to stun Marsh on this Doomfist if they commit to it, which they absolutely are.
They were planning on running a rush comp to begin with, but they were going to sacrifice that Lucio speed for the Brig stun. They've gone something a bit slower here. Hopefully pays off. Not going to allow Marsh to get anywhere near close to their side right now.
Yeah, double shield at the last second, and it's going to be interesting to see whether this rush can run through the shields and take out any sort of player. Yeah, Yoshi falls pretty quickly to Marsh. However, Jay and Izo really putting in a lot of work. Weakpix and Marsh do fall, and because of that, all of Getting Creative are practically calling fullback regroup, give them point.
Yeah, the last second swap there to the double shield paid off well. Against like a rush comp like this, it might be a bit difficult, but as long as you're poking at them, as long as you're dealing damage before they can get anywhere near close, it's going to be difficult to get any sort of value, especially out of this Doomfist.
Now, I like this wraparound by Getting Creative. Try to get in behind MET1CKS and put a lot of pressure onto them. But the positioning by MET1CKS is really good. Marsh instantly stunned on their initiation. Because of that, losing Marsh early is going to make it really hard for Getting Creative. Amplification Matrix, however, means that Ana and Nanuvo can pump a lot of damage through, and they now have that point presence. They're probably going to be able to get a free cap without having to do too much work, but look aggressive.
Yeah, very aggressive. It's what you need to be in a double shield kind of comp. Playing against it, rather, you have to get close up and personal and not allow them to get any pick damage, as they were before. And they've really adapted to the style of play that they need to do, and just allowing Marsh to get value as much as they possibly can.
Now, it's going to be really hard for this push. The Dragon Strike does come through. Splits off Weakpix Kid, and Weakpix Kid is getting forced right into it. Immortality can't come out to keep Weakpix Kid alive quick enough. Yoshi taking out Marsh once again, and Marsh looks like they're just getting punished now. People on the side of MET1CKS do not want to let Marsh breathe. I mean, they're only 96 to Meteor Strike right now.
Certainly taking him a while to do so. He's probably just going to pop it and then swap off to probably the Hanzo. Might get a bit more value out of it, and of course they've been popping off on it, especially on some other maps before. But this double shield is very difficult for this rush comp to get into.
Now, yeah, exactly right. They have to invest so much time just trying to find how to wrap around and path and making those calls of let's go left, let's go right, you know, play that dance, ring around the rosy, find a way to push in and get aggressive, and it's all up to MET1CKS to try and avoid it. Supercharger comes out, but the shatter by Weakpix brings people to the ground, but Weakpix falls during it. Marsh now getting the uppercut onto the Brig and takes out Jay as well. This is looking like a good fight for Getting Creative, as now they can just rush onto Izo on the point and capture it with about 86% to the side of MET1CKS.
Yeah, the link-up play between Weakpix and Marsh there was imperative in getting them that fight win. Shatter comes out, then the Meteor Strike comes out, gets rid of Lamp, and he gets 2 kills. Very important there, but is he going to be... Are they going to be able to replicate that kind of value? Especially on this Ryan and Doomfist. Very difficult to play in the double shield, but they are just going to go rush straight in and hope for the best.
They rushed into a self-destruct, but the self-destruct from Ana worked out a little bit better, and yeah, Getting Creative just team-wiped MET1CKS, taking off a little bit of time on the board.
Exactly what they needed there. They needed to speed through, let Marsh get as much value as he can, let Weakpix get much value as he can, and that's all you really need to do. Very, very calm, very chill from there, and now they're going to have the upper hand in these final percentages.
Now it looks like METR1CKS opting to go out the right door this time, but Marsh putting in so much work on this Doomfist. WeakPixKid does fall, and the Flux comes out by Izo. It does look like Izo's going to try stay in this fight, but Marsh is going to say not today, and that 99% as our first point of Nepal goes to the way of getting creative.
Definitely a great start for them. Great way for them to turn around. Double shield is very, very hard to play in as a rush comp, and they did it well. They were to get Marsh value after a long time, but finally paid off, and they became the difference maker, the Doomfist.
Yeah, absolutely. Marsh was getting called out, and like every time they tried to initiate, it looked like METR1CKS had their number, but finally Marsh just changed cell phone provider, got a new number, and started to pummel them once again.
We're seeing a bit more of a strange comp here, a bit more fast-paced from METR1CKS, a bit Farah and the Tracer coming out here. Other side, more of a classic rush. We're getting creative, setting up at this point really well this start.
Yeah, really fast, getting creative, already on point. Meanwhile, METR1CKS sort of just all over the place. Jay getting taken out by Nanuvo quickly. The rest isn't able to come through either by 200. Ana getting up close and personal and just getting the punch. And that is going to give getting creative a lot of value and should be able to cap as Sag and Izo both decide to reset.
Tactical reset's what they need. They just need to wait at that time. They know when to engage and disengage. They've been doing it the entire time. What's the difference in doing it with a bit more of a ball instead of a Winston?
Now, it looks like getting creative, playing on the high ground, trying to push out Yoshi here, but it actually gives a little bit of space for METR1CKS to all come back here. Now with TTK and Izo pushing up onto WeakPixKid, putting a lot of pressure. WeakPixKid gets to play the fun game of Reinhardt where you just hold your shield and look everywhere so you stop as much damage as possible. However, not enough as Yoshi does take them out, but I think it gave enough time for the DPS of getting creative to get a good couple of picks. Amplification Matrix came out, and yeah, that confirmed yet another fight win for getting creative.
I think you missed there the teleporter that went straight into the backline. Marsh TPing his entire team in there and is able to pick up so many kills. Nanuvo also assisting in that kind of play. It was very good work from them to get 51% and climbing in this last point.
We could potentially see a fun little TP Deadeye on the side of Cassidy here. So that could be something to keep an eye out. I love when those kind of plays come through. However, Rocket Barrage from Jay, but a self-destruct from Ana. Once again, this is looking so good for getting creative right now, as they even just throw out the photon barrier for the fun of it.
Yeah, just back and forth ultimate. It's just going to be difficult for METR1CKS to come through there when they're just, you know, using the same amount of ult every time and getting advantage out of it. Ana with that big Diva Bomb self-destruct, just putting it into the last percentages, and they pop High Noon early to try and close it out.
Yeah, it doesn't get any picks, unfortunately. Cassidy not getting the kills they were looking for. Self-destruct gets WeakPixKid as they were charged by TTK, and that's probably going to unlock a fight win for METR1CKS. They just need to get a couple more picks here. Meanwhile, getting creative, all they care about is trying to stall it out long enough that WeakPixKid can come back. However, it does look like all that's going to happen is that METR1CKS get the point flip at 99%.
Well played there from TTK, pinning WeakPixKid, not allowing him to escape the Diva Bomb. Really well done there. Able to cap the point just off that play alone. Losing the main tank, it's been so difficult to like move on with. Again, for both these teams, but 99%, all they need is one fight win. And in creative to seal it out, to seal out the map dub, to seal out the victory. On the other side, it's going to be a tall order for METR1CKS to come back.
Yeah, METR1CKS cannot make a mistake here. And with the teleporting shatter, that mistake gets made. WeakPixKid charging through Yoshi Nori there, and that is going to be it for getting creative. Wow, if we talk about getting creative, a TP shatter into your backline is the perfect way to do it. And what a beautiful way to finish our first series as getting creative win. 3 8-2.
What a statement. Are you kidding me? What a great team play to end off the entire series. Both these teams played incredibly all night long, but at the end of the day, getting creative were the ones that got creative and were able to pick up that team win.
Now, this has been such a good series all around, and frankly speaking, I think both teams should be happy with the way they played. I mean, MET1CKS managed to figure out the strategy that Getting Creative were playing and brought a bit of pressure to them. Took 2 maps, and I think all in all, MET1CKS played a phenomenal game. But as always, Vocalize, we have to talk about who do you think was the MVP of this series, of this match?
I mean, there was one person on Getting Creative teams that they just couldn't contain MET1CKS, and it's got to be Marsh. I mean, come on. Getting picks left, right, and center, always there for his team, always there just to help them out when they needed. He was the reason why that last shatter paid off as well as it did. So props to them for getting their team being the MVP in the series.
Absolutely right. Marsh was so dominant on the Doomfist, but they also showed us that they can run other heroes. You know, they brought out the Hanzo for a little bit, and realistically, you know, Marsh did such a good, phenomenal job. Now, don't go anywhere, everyone, because we still have some more amazing games for you. We've got our next series coming up, which is going to be Team ZAKDACARDOOR, which, might I remind you, that is the team that Citrus is a coach for. So Team ZAKDACARDOOR versus Semantic, right after this quick break. back once again. We are back for some more Ascent Season 5 Week 4, and we are back now for the second game of the night after such a really exciting back and forth matchup between Getting Creative and Metrics. We now have another very exciting matchup for you, which is going to be Semantics versus ZAKDACARDOOR. So, to run you through these two teams, because obviously we might need a bit of a recap on who these teams are. Starting with Semantics, we have on the main tank Raiden, who loves to play the Reinhardt. On top of that, we have Escape, which we have seen Escape run Wrecking Ball already in week 2, and Escape was very good at that Wrecking Ball, so it'll be exciting to see them come back. Braindead will be running Flex DPS, loving to run the Mei, so we might see a lot of freezing happening, which could be devastating, especially if you're frozen and a pile driver comes through. Snee opting for the Cassidy. Baby, she's going to be playing the Lucio, and then Nebula running Ana as their aim support. A few little things to note about Semantic is they were formed a week before the latest AAOL stage, so they're fairly new. They were Mythian Poseidon during the first stage, then merged with SU Battalion, and every one of the players has played for Mythion at some point. But Vocalize, who are they running up against?
It'll be Team ZAKDACARDOOR. A lot of hype around this team, I think. They got Guimon on the main tank. Favorite hero Brig. A lot of them, they do like a Brig, but they got Maeve on the off tank, Scab on the DPS, Kitten or Pika on the hit scan, Aseki on main support, and then Windfeather on the aim. A couple facts about them is that their team name is inspired by the man himself, Citrus OCE, who played in the last game. Very strong showing from his team. They believe that Brig is harder to play than Zen. Question up for debate, I feel. They recently picked up the new off-tank, Maeve, and then their core roster is on Fire Scale Academy. They are all very unstable, and Scab is LFT.
Now, I don't know about you, but I think looking at this wee graphic, I think we've gone back to the very start of Overwatch where you can choose the same hero as every player. Hopefully we see 6 Brigs on the field. That'll be very exciting, but you know what? Let's try and get straight into it. We're starting off on Lijiang Tower. The map pool is exactly the same as always, Lijiang Tower, with the option of Hollywood, Blizzard World, or King's Row for a little bit of hybrid. Junkertown, Watchpoint Gibraltar, or Dorado will be our payload escort maps. Temple of Anubis, Hanamura, or Volskaya will be our assault. Then, of course, Nepal or Oasis to finish off our night if we go to a map 5. And if we go to a map 6, if they really want to grace us, we'll use Ilios. So if we need to, it's there. Hopefully we don't. It could be a bit of fun though. But let's jump into some Lijiang Tower first. I think that's going to be the best way to start the series. Now, Vocalize. Semantics versus ZAKDACARDOOR. Semantics we saw in week 2. They run Wrecking Ball really well. They like to run this sort of like interesting dive style where Escape harasses and then the rest of the team kind of rush over from memory. What do you think ZAKDACARDOOR should do to potentially counteract that?
My guess is a little bit of trolling, to be fair. A bit of they're just here to have fun. They are, of course, here to win, and they will probably do a pretty good job at trying to achieve that goal. But I guess trolling will probably put them over the line in this one.
Yeah, I feel like it would be a disgrace if we didn't see a Brig come out right now. But moving into Ilios, you have the classic, probably running a bit of Lucio. We'll probably see Baby. She'll probably be playing the Lucio. And I think Oseki will be the one opting for Lucio on the side of ZAKDACARDOOR here. And then on top of that, I mean, tanks could potentially play a bit of rush, a bit of dive. We'll see what happens very shortly, Vocalize.
Yeah, definitely. Assembling heroes is just about to finish, and as we can see, oh my, both sides are gone crazy. What is that?
I think a little bit of late night chaos is entering our video game right now. Are we actually going to see the Bastion? Are we actually? No, okay, no, maybe
Wow,
we won't.
okay. That's good. But on the other side, they got very strange comp Lucio Brig, Genji Doom, and then Winston Ryan. It's a bit of a bit not conventional, I would say. I'm just stunned for words.
Yeah, absolutely right. But a head-on clash right at the sort of middle point of Lijiang Tower leads to Doomfist falling quickly to Brain Dead. However, Guimon is going to take Brain Dead out, and this Reinhardt is just holding the shield and pressing W, but gets booped up by Baby! She was looking for it. She found it. Beautiful play. Couldn't boop off the Genji because unfortunately Genji can stay on the map there, but really quickly, first point capture going to Team ZAKDACARDOOR.
Yeah, great start for them thus far. I mean, it might be unconventional, but it's working. They have some sort of crazy strategy that they're pulling off pretty well thus far.
Yeah, Reaper doing a wee little teleport across the map, but gets found pretty quickly. However, with Raiden taking down Windfeather, they're taken out of the map, and Raiden now putting in a lot of work. Guimon taken out as well. Nebula and Escape just following up on a couple of kills, and just as quickly as ZAKDACARDOOR got it, Semantics are going to take it back.
Yes, definitely really good work from them. You see, they got the ults coming up now. They got that Dragon Blade coming out, Scab, and then the Shatter for Guimon. Really good work from them. But on the other side, they're also climbing up in the ults. That EMP is going to be so crucial for them this next round.
Coalescence gets shut down by a really nice shatter from Guimon. Windfeather does take out Baby, however, a little bit of a support battle. Mauve now getting the punch onto Nebula, and there's that Dragon Blade taking out two. Doesn't even need to find a third, as that point just gets capped right on back, and this is a very back and forth sort of capping fight right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've used the ults to get in there, but now they're going to have the crucial ult Semantics. They got the EMP bomb. It can be so important. Escape and Snee have to be on top of their game to get this working, especially when there's so much cover on this map. They need to pick their time right. On the other side, they do have that Primal, which can be so good if Maeve can get that juggle on, but the rally is going to be used to initiate, most likely.
Such a quick rush in, but it looks like Pika gets a good punch onto Baby there. Guimon charges through Brain Dead, and wow, such a quick collapse of Semantics. You know what? Maybe ZAKDACARDOOR decided no trolling today. We just want to take it and win it with style.
Yeah, no ults required there. Pika. He's got a bit of a weird name, the smiley face. kind of battle tag. But yeah, he came in, delivered the goods, got the kills with a bit of a punch, and just using left click. You can see him right now flanking. He's going to get ready for a punch, looking for big damage, but the shatters come out from Gui.
What a good shatter by Gui there. That was a beautiful throwing everyone to the ground. Brain Dead tried to pop a bit of a death blossom, but got found by Maeve. And with that, 92% is going to be up to anyone to try touch, but actually they just call for a pause instead.
I believe that after such a good play from Pika, his computer has decided not to work anymore. It was too on fire after that one, and now he's just walking into a wall, as it would seem. But he is going to have ult up for the last fight, and 93% and climbing. They might not be able to, like, finish off this point. They might not be able to touch because of all these ultimates that ZAKDACARDOOR has.
Nebula desperately trying to touch to get stunned, and yeah, that first point, Garden, going the way of Team ZAKDACARDOOR.
Just a good start for them. No trolling required, really. It's just an unconventional comp that Semantics weren't ready for, but really good work from them.
Moving in to our night market map on Lijiang Tower, do you think any changes will come through, Vocalize?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, it's a very unconventional comp, going to take them by surprise. On the other side, though, Semantics going for a bit more rush. Definitely more conventional on this map. We didn't see it in the last series, but they're going to do the sim TP onto that high ground.
And I think that makes sense. You know, the turrets can really put a lot of pressure onto Pika on Doomfist, so being able to just slow down any sort of damage coming through. And there's the TP straight away, turrets are getting set up, but oh, Pika going straight in, getting a good punch onto Nebula, removing them, and Scab is now able to follow up, taking out Baby, and what a quick team wipe from ZAKDACARDOOR.
Yeah, Pika getting those kills early, just so much kill confirm happening. The frags are coming out here, and that's what's getting the difference. Just early frags is just so important throughout this right now, and that's that whole team comp revolves around, and it's working.
Yeah, absolutely right. Like you said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Raiden, however, breaks Windfeather, takes them out of the fight for now, and with this Mei freezing you down, it can be quite hard to try and put on the pressure, but Pika can continue to put on this pressure as they just get punch after punch, and we've been seeing so many successful Doomfists coming through tonight, and it looks like Pika's going to be our next successful Doomfist.
He's definitely bringing forward some great work for his team for it now. So Scab on the Genji as well, just going back and forth with those dashes, dealing so much damage and allowing Pika to just do whatever they want right now. Really good stuff from them so far.
Now, this push immediately found by Winston, primaling them off the high ground. However, Braindead is able to freeze up this primaling Winston. Gui has to get away, get back to the team, but Raiden got so deep that everyone just collapsed on top of them. Blade now comes out, gets stunned, and Nebula is able to help Sneak take them out there. Unfortunately, Scab's Blade did not work out, but the rally from Windfeather, they're going to put in a lot of work to try and slow down any sort of push coming through from SEMANTICS, and SEMANTICS finally finding a little bit of value. Fire strike through Windfeather, and now it's just a couple left on point, but a sound barrier is going to give these remaining players of ZAKDACARDOOR a bit more health, and you see they're forced to use Blizzard just to try and win this fight and get the point back, and the stall is still happening.
Are you kidding me? The stall's up. Even with Blizzard, they weren't able to get it. They're going to be reaching 90% here, so if they let go at that point, it will be over for them. Very unfortunate there. As we can see, you know, Pika and Gui are going to have a very good combo coming online here. They're going to shatter in the meteor strike. We saw it happen so well last time with getting creative. Hopefully we can see something similar right now.
Now here comes a really quick rush round to the right door. They've already got a lot of space made, but with this amplification matrix, they're going to have to slow it down a little bit, just not peak so you don't take all that damage that comes through. Raiden trying to find a good fire strike to take someone out here, and now in comes Maeve. But these Doomfist plays by Pika. Pika is trying to speed run through Lijiang Tower right now. Meteor Strike taking out Snee. Raiden charged off the map, taking Guimon with them, but it gives ZAKDACARDOOR the point, and this point is now just going to tick away. 92-93. Maeve jumping onto escape. No escape apart from going back to spawn. Braindead getting a touch. Raiden committing the shatter, but at the struggle of getting a touch here, Braindead taking out Maeve, primal raging Raiden, a boot by Oseki, and ZAKDACARDOOR looking dominant on our first point of Lijiang Tower. Escape still trying to keep the fight alive, not letting me do my outro line on Lijiang just yet. And if you watch Scab, just
Victory.
I think they might need to get their mouse checked out there. Their DPI went crazy for a few seconds.
I mean, you saw the Doomfist and the main tank play in stereo, just like what we saw last time with Shadow. Just their ult percentages were going up at nearly identical pace, and it was just what won them those fights. It was really great work. Just you've got to hand it to Pika and Gui, really bringing home the victory for their team in this fight.
And man, ZAKDACARDOOR put on such a dominant show. SEMANTICS are going to have to work hard to meet their level right now. They were so aggressive. However, Escape hasn't run their classic Wrecking Ball yet, you know, so we might start seeing some really interesting plays as we move into our first hybrid map. Now, theoretically, we're going to be seeing Kings Row, but there is the chance of Hollywood or Blizzard World. What do you think SEMANTICS should choose?
Oh, it's a tough one, because whatever you pick, ZAKDACARDOOR is just going to come out with something crazy that it's going to be very difficult to get get a grasp of and trying to get on top of. But most likely Kings Row is going to be the go for it. It's what's comfortable for most teams that play in Ascent, play in every AOL kind of AOE kind of competition. So hopefully we're going to be seeing that, or they might mix it up.
Yeah, absolutely right. There's 3 maps to choose from, and they've got every choice in the world here. So just waiting on that there. But I'll be surprised. It is Kings Row. There it is. Kings Row comes through. Classic. You don't expect anything different. Now, speaking of a little bit different, though, looks like Semantics is subbing in Richter for Snee.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a change of pace. Richter, I think, fills in that, just judging from the profile picture they have here, it just fills in that Cassidy role. I don't think Snee really played the more mobile kind of DPS. Might be a bit of change of pace for them. But we're going to be seeing a switch up here. ZAKDACARDOOR is going to go on defense first.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think you might be spot on. This Richter might come through to play Cassidy. Maybe really confident in the Cassidy here. And it'll just be interesting to see whether Richter coming through makes a big enough difference that Semantics are able to take the map of Kings Row, or whether ZAKDACARDOOR are going to continue this really dominant play style. I mean, if Pika's really good at running this Doom, a Cassidy to come through could be the right answer.
You're going to be seeing similar stuff to what we saw firstly. Marsh was so dominant on that map against Metrics, and then we're going to see this kind of similar thing where Pika's doing such good work, and hopefully we get to see more of that. It's going to be about for Semantics taking down that connection between Guimon and Pika.
Now it's exactly just making sure they shut down this dive before they even get any value out of it. And that's where Cassidy comes through. The stun is so crucial, and if you just make the call, the rest of the team can collapse onto Pika and make it that Pika struggles to play the game. But we just have to wait and see. Pika is going to opt for the Doomfist Scab running the Genji.
Yeah, bit more of the same as what they were doing before. Windfeather's gone off the brig though. Can't wait to see what they do on the Moira now. We haven't seen any play out of this hero just yet, haven't we, Apara? But
absolutely right. A Widowmaker is going to be interesting to see. It might just be for a potential early pick on the attack here, but realistically, yeah, the Widowmaker could be a lot of fun to get a couple of quick early picks and do some damage.
Definitely, we are just going to get it started here. Definitely more conventional for Semantics, but with a bit of the hit scan that Richter brings to the table. This ZAKDACARDOOR hold is just crazy. Yeah, they got both main tanks just all over the place, and they got Scab coming in here, and then finally Rage picks up Maeve early.
Oh, Maeve just got removed, and there goes Pika. This is looking like a pretty solid attack here for Semantics. They've now changed sides. They are the red team now, just so you're aware. And yeah, that's a pretty quick dominant attack.
Yeah, they picked apart that really split holds like pretty well to begin with. They saw Maeve and Scab on that left side of that point. They took them out very quickly and just moved forward, and that was all she wrote from there. So now they have 5 minutes on the clock to get it to the second point.
That's so much time. It's gonna be an uphill battle for ZAKDACARDOOR right now, as this time bank is looking very hard to fight off. We do see Pika and Maeve. They're just playing on this high ground, waiting for the call from the team that they're ready to initiate here. But BrainDead just running forward, holding Mouse 1, trying to freeze up the Reinhardt. Shatter comes in from GUI here, takes out BrainDead, and that's going to lead to Oseki just getting aggressive, and all of Semantics are going to start collapsing. Even with Richter taking out Scab, that is going to be a hold for ZAKDACARDOOR.
I can't believe it. Raiden used Shatter and got killed by Oseki. That's really great work from them. Goemon coming in with the goods there. Massive shadow from them, just allowing them to get this hold, and they're going to be able to hold this choke really well. But we're going to be seeing a bit of a different view for Semantics. They're going up on the high ground.
Yeah, absolutely. I like this rotation. It means that if Pika and Maeve are playing some kind of cheeky flank, you're going to find it early and make it really hard for them. Brain Dead now initiating with a wall, making it so that it's going to be a bit more of a struggle here. Windfeather just trying to keep the team alive. Blade comes out by Scab. Scab and Pika, sorry, I was going to call them Kirby. Meteor striking and just blading to get those kills and once again confirm another defensive hold.
He might just have the power of Kirby, don't you think, with the amount of kills he's getting in this backline right now. he's one of the only names in the kill feed right now. So just quite incredible what they're doing right now. But Escape got the bomb out after getting killed by the Coalescence.
Yeah, Escape, I guess, got an escape kill. Shatter blocked by Guimon. Guimon is playing so aggressively and dominantly right now, playing so well. Sound barrier by Baby. She's going to make sure that this team is able to push forward and be aggressive as Semantics are desperately trying to push this payload without losing much time back here. Richter on the Cassidy, just trying to break through these shields, trying to do a bit of fan the hammer and gets a good stun into Guimon, but Guimon gets enough support to stay alive. Raiden now pushing it. The Shatter gets blocked by a Maywall. The Shatter collapsed, but the Maywall protected the team. And then out comes the Blizzard to make sure that there's no value from that Shatter. Incredible play by Brain Dead right there. However, Guimon is still going to put in the work. Gui is doing so much value right now. Scab pops the blade, and that is just a full collapse once again of Semantics.
No matter how good that play was from Brain Dead, it's so unfortunate that the team was able to speed in, just take them bit by bit. Pika just getting all those kills once again. Gui as well, just showing exactly what he can do. That Shatter was so close to being perfect, but the wall got in the way. But look again, Gui's got another one coming up 80%.
Gui has been on top of it on this Reinhardt. So exciting to watch. And now with this flank, it comes down to this Amplification Matrix Deadeye combo. Trying to come through the Fire Strike, takes out Nebula, but the Deadeye does find Scab in the process here. Shatter comes through by Gui once again, but Richter on the Cassidy is getting the kills. Pika trying to stay alive in the fight, and it is working. Escape once again left alone, and being a little baby diva, you're gonna get staggered out. There is no escape for a baby diva apart from the sad story of stalling.
Oh boy, this is kind of unfortunate. If he gets the rematch, it's going to get melee. It's very unfortunate. Oh no, it's such a long score, but they are moving point. Oh, okay, they are going to be able to engage with that kill confirmed.
And now Pika getting so aggressive. A Primal Rage from Maeve as well. The Shatter trying to keep something alive by Raiden, but it's not alive enough as all of Semantics just get collapsed on.
The amount of work that ZAKDACARDOOR is doing right now is incredible. I swear, not one player on the team is standing out too much because all of them are playing so well right now. Just defense after defense, they're playing so well. This comp is so unconventional, but they've just made it work to perfection.
The hard part is, for Semantics, is the fact that they have such a long distance they have to try and push just to get to the payload. It's so hard. If this payload gets defended, it's so hard to try and win a defensive fight. I like this rotation. They're now becoming the defending team and almost forcing ZAKDACARDOOR into an attacking position. Self-destruct comes out as well as a Deadeye from Richter on the Cassidy, but the blade by Scab followed up by Pika. Oh, this is devastating stuff to watch.
The backline is just not safe at all. The blade comes out and Pika follows with a big punch. They get 4 kills in between them. And that's all they need to really defend this point. What incredible work from these DPS.
Yeah, absolutely. Scab and Pika have been on point, but so is everyone else from ZAKDACARDOOR. Sound barrier comes out by Baby, just trying to keep any kind of semblance alive, and Semantics right now, but with Guimon and Pika just putting in so much pressure. It is going to lead to, once again, another collapse of Semantics, with just Raiden on the Wrecking Ball trying to stall it out here. I think Semantics are going to have to change something up if they want to try and break through this wacky comp that ZAKDACARDOOR are playing.
Just haven't found an answer for it yet, have they? It's going to be difficult to, like, you know, even get close to holding this, because you know how strong their attack was on the first point. If they lost it on Lee Jane, they just come back and they'd cap it in the very next fight. So they're probably going for something of the same sort here as they try and capture point first before they move that payload.
Now, all it comes down to for ZAKDACARDOOR is to push it near to the end of Street's phase of King's Row, that sort of point B position here. So it's not a tall feat. ZAKDACARDOOR have a very good eye on the prize for King's Row, and really going up 2-0 in the series, it's going to put a lot of pressure on Semantics if they manage it. The mental game for Semantics right now is really important. They don't want to let it get to them.
Yeah, definitely, and the comp has changed that little bit, which might throw them off, because they've gone that double shield maybe to just try and deal with the pressure in the backline. Maybe you all stay together, you all have stuns, eliminates that problem, but they've gone off to more of a conventional rush style, with Pika playing that, of course, that Doomfist. So strong thus far. Guimon as well, picking up the goods. Those two have been unplayable thus far, and they're trying to continue this run.
It's been such a dominant run so far. Let's see if it keeps going. Scab trying to get value on the Widow, but because of this double shield setup, you just have to go into Genji, and that's immediately what they do. Because of this sort of bunker setup right now, point is free. Pika has just rushed right up. However, Braindead, their positioning is enough to make it a little bit harder to play on point. But now Maeve and Scab are able to get up close and personal. Takeout to Scab does fall during the process, but realistically, this is going to be such a quick point capture. Pika trying to punch the Orisa, but the Orisa stays alive long enough to take away a few seconds.
This team's synergy right now is second to none. Like this, they've made this, it doesn't matter what kind of heroes you play, if you play them as well as this team is right now. I don't even think they're doing much trolling, because they get on the point, they split Raiden off from his team, and they didn't even pick off Raiden, they picked off every single other member of the team. Incredible stuff, and they're just gonna keep cruising.
You can see Semantics are really struggling to know what to do now. Raiden opting to play Roadhog, going for a little bit of Sigma Hog playstyle here now, and I mean, this is just desperation hour for Semantics. The Dynamite gets a little bit of ult charge, but the Coalescence gives Guimon so much value, and able to just walk forward, swing that hammer with a giant beam of healing, helping you out there. This payload is going to be near free to cap, potentially only one fight left, if that. With the way ZAKDACARDOOR getting so aggressive, that may not even exist.
They are putting so much pressure on them. It looks like they're not even going to be able to touch point with how far they pushed up here. Are you kidding me? Guimon. Absolutely incredible plays, and Maeve is just going to walk this payload to victory. They aren't going to touch it here. There's no way is that Roadhog can get anywhere near close. Scap picking up the goods. Dewey picking up the goods. Pika's going absolutely crazy, and that's all she wrote. 2-0 to ZAKDACARDOOR.
That was literally a don't kick them while they're down moment, but Gui just said, I'm kicking you. In fact, I'm taking you down as once more. And just, oh my god. This has been such a dominant performance right now by ZAKDACARDOOR. Semantics, they need to refocus. They need to not let ZAKDACARDOOR get in their head right now. They need to really think about, you know what, they're running this goofy play style. What map can we take them to? What players, what heroes can we choose, sorry, that's going to put the pressure, especially onto Pika, onto Gui. It's really interesting to see, and I think there's always a chance that they're going to be able to do it. There's always a chance for a reverse sweep, but it just comes down to what are they going to bring into the mix here? And it looks like the answer is more subs.
They're changing it up. They're trying to see what they can do. Fix it up a little bit. I think Exotic Cow and Baby are going to be coming in here for Raiden and Nebula. But who knows what that might do. It might change the tide a little bit, but it doesn't even matter unless you can get like a hold of this comp and know how to counter it. And do these subs know how to counter it? That's just the real question.
The question is, do you just play the no fun for Doomfist hero of Sombra, making that Doomfist just cannot play? What is Semantics going to do with this super big team comp change? Like, my notes do not look like the same team that we started with here. Escape and Brain Dead, the only players still in the exact same spot. Snee now moving to support. Zephyr coming in on support. Exotic Cow being the tank substitute, and then Richter opting for playing in the DPS slot. And I'm assuming a lot of it is potentially due to time, due to the fact the game got delayed. Things are still changing. I don't know what is happening. I'm just gonna say we're going to Junkertown, and that is all I know.
It's a bit confusing for everyone right now, but the only team it isn't confusing for is Team ZAKDACARDOOR. They have come out, they've set what they needed to do, and they're doing it so far. Semantics had to have a couple changes in, you know, try and get the goods, but it's just been so difficult for them so far. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, ZAKDACARDOOR bringing the silly themselves with a little bit of goofy comps here. And you know what? I'm surprised we didn't see the 6 Brigs. I thought ZAKDACARDOOR would be the team to find a way to do it, but not today. Maybe next time. Maybe next stream you'll see 6 Brigs on the field. You never really know here. But moving into Junkertown, I think that could be a potentially good option. I mean, you can run double sniper here. You can run double shield here. You've got so many options, so it really opens up the playing field. And also, I think it gives Escape good reason to play Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, I think that's going to be such a big issue though, because they do have Windfeather on the brig. Like, they've been incredible thus far. They don't even need 6 Brids because Windfeather's been playing so incredibly on it. Especially whenever they have to swap off to the Moira, has done the job as well. But the brig has been very good and is doing, I'm pretty sure, is doing Papadaka proud.
Papadaka's out there being very proud right now. And yeah, no, really enjoying this matchup so far. I think Semantics, they have that chance for the reverse sweep. It always exists, but it's going to be an uphill battle. They've got to make this mountain move, so it's going to be really interesting to see what they bring to it. And yeah, Richter on maybe Tracer, but Brain Dead on the Kree. I like that call, however, Pika is not on that Doomfist anymore.
Might be a bit difficult for the first point, I reckon. Not a lot of space for you to, like, you know, maneuver around, and I feel like that's why he's gone to Junkrat for this first point, just denying him the space. Cassidy is a good pick in the event that they do go to that Doomfist. But on the other side, we can see Seki got onto the brig. You're right, Apollo.
Oh, okay. You're right. Yeah, no, Cassidy is the name. One day I'll figure it out here. For some reason, all my lights just turned off, and I don't know what just happened. Fortunately, my computer is still on. Very interesting to see happen. But yeah, no, we are out of the gate right now. Putting in a little bit of work. This double, well, no, it's an Orisa Wrecking Ball by Maeve and Guimon. Meanwhile, Escape is onto this signature hero of Wrecking Ball. Finally get to see it. Snee getting pulled by a little bit of pull by Gui, but doesn't get the kill. And this payload has started to push up to this first sort of bridge of Junkertown without too much congestion. The question is, are Semantics going to be able to find just a couple of picks to continue this push?
Yeah, you can see right now, Mavis is being an absolute nuisance in the background. Snee and Exotic having no downtime when Mavis in the back, just suppressing them, pile driving them, get close to their ult off of it. Richter gets Pika really early on in this fight. That's going to be pretty crucial.
Rez comes out. Pika is back in the fight now, but Escape taking out Windfeather is just looking like Semantics are finally finding a way to play this game, and Escape on Wrecking Ball may have been a big part to the answer.
Yeah, I think they've finally figured out what to do against these like bizarre comps, but they're changing it up again. Like, who knows what this team is capable of right now when they change this comp, but they're keeping hold of that Brig and they're keeping hold of that Junkrat.
And look at that, jumping onto the point, managing to stop it at the last second, but it's not going to be enough as Windfeather and Maeve fall. All that's left is Oseki and Gui, and yep, that is a first point capture going the way of Semantics, and they're looking a lot stronger than they did before.
Yeah, I think subs have just thrown them off a little bit. Entirely different team now, wouldn't you say? They've got a couple new people that walked in and they're just really taking it by storm at the moment. They have so many ults online as well. They just look like they're very strong right now. It's going to take tall order for ZAKDACARDOOR to, like, you know, reconvene and try and defend it once more.
Yeah, absolutely right, but we did see on King's Row, ZAKDACARDOOR, they managed to hold that second point, so there is always the potential. Pika on this Junkrat, now throwing mines down a staircase, and that Riptire comes out, taking out Zephyr. ZAKDACARDOOR doing so much pressure right now onto all of the players of Semantics, forcing them back to spawn, and now it looks like ZAKDACARDOOR has that defensive hold.
Yeah, it's great stuff from the Junkrat. It's probably why he's picked it here. You can't even enter that choke room without being some sort of pressure coming your way. The tire was just so powerful there. Just pretty much ended the push after that tire was in play. Not that they weren't losing anyone, but are you joking me, Oseki? Stunned escape out of the mines. Absolutely incredible.
It's not very often you see a Wrecking Ball lose their minefield, but when it happens, it hurts. The anti-nade onto Tracer, putting a lot of pressure, forcing recall. Gravitic Flux comes out, only picks up Oseki, and Oseki is going to be taken out by Zephyr's Flux right there. Scab now feeling the pressure of a Sigma up in your face as well, but Snee's going to be the one that gets the kill. Forced to bring out the Transcendence, and it's going to give enough healing to put enough pressure for Semantics to continue pushing this payload after a wee bit of a pit stop at the middle of second point Junkertown.
Guillemon stuck in the back line. Might be a bit difficult here. They're going to have to try and go for a touch or just reset. Big stagger for them, unfortunately, but we might see a little bit of turnaround now as the ults are in the favor of Team ZAKDACARDOOR.
Absolutely right, ZAKDACARDOOR. They have a lot more value in ults right now. They got that supercharger, they got that self-destruct, and Bob is nearly ready as well. But Semantics, they're looking strong. They are pushing up so well. I'm loving this push onto the high ground, putting the pressure onto ZAKDACARDOOR, but the biotic grenade onto Escape, taking Escape out. Windfeather on the Ana, they're putting in the work, getting 2 kills. Bob comes out by Scab, and once again, ZAKDACARDOOR just run over the remaining players of Semantics and hold it again.
As we said, the ult advantage was so important there. They used what they had, they denied the space with the Bob, and that was all she wrote. You can't really do anything with that space with the ball if there's a Bob running around shooting you, just taking so much damage. And when you add that on with like the stuns and all the damage coming in from that high ground, so difficult to move past them.
Dynamite as well. That's so much pressure for Semantics as they walk out the door, getting hit by a Dynamite and just burning away that HP. Escape getting stunned. It's just so hard for them to be aggressive, and there's so much response. Supercharger comes out, but it's going to get found pretty quickly and taken out by Zephyr. The Pulse Bomb as well. With a minefield in your backline, you can't walk backwards now as ZAKDACARDOOR, so you have to commit to a fight. Pika getting the pick onto Escape, now opting for the Cassidy. Zephyr taking out Oseki, however, is going to make it really hard now for ZAKDACARDOOR. Rally comes through by the exotic cow, trying to run over Scab, but Scab did take out Zephyr and is able to coach gun away to a little bit of safety. This Brig is just chasing you down and you don't want to die to it. And Nano now on Maeve. Maeve is going to start trying to get the picks, but Richter taking out Gui. All that's left is Maeve trying to put some damage through, but you can't damage when a Transcendence is up. Whip shot taking out Pika, and this payload is going to continue rolling forward. ZAKDACARDOOR trying desperately to get a touch in, and it's going to be Gooey and Maeve that are going to be the ones that get the touch. The Wrecking Ball and Diva putting in so much work to slow down this payload, but with a Bob fight going on, a bit of a Bob fight happening, just going back and forth here is going to give enough room for ZAKDACARDOOR to start getting picks as Richter on the Tracer, just getting up close and personal. Pile driver onto Oseki, breaks the shield, gives the Dynamite enough value, and that's a minute 30 on Junkertown for Semantics.
Wow. That was incredible. Like, the sub game has changed it entirely. So many swaps have come up here out of nowhere and has turned the game on its head. Not nearly as dominant there for Team ZAKDACARDOOR, and that's just unfortunate. I think we just need to see Pika, like, them playing that original comp that they were playing before, because they were just, the other team was just struggling so hard. Like, Semantics just weren't able to deal with it, and they swapped over for this map, and I guess look what happened. They were able to cap, they were able to tear them apart and get the 3 points.
Yeah, now, all it comes down to is Semantics putting a really good defense on here. Semantics need to just hold strong, hold fast, and if they're able to bring that defense, they open up the opportunity. They open up the door for a... Oh, pardon me. They open up the door for a little bit of a potential reverse sweep.
Yeah, definitely when you have, like, that much power in able to change your roster, that much depth in your hero pool, and be able to maneuver it like they are right now compared to ZAKDACARDOOR, you definitely do have an advantage in that regard. But sometimes the subs don't work as well as the main roster, but this time it is definitely improved the team, I think you would say. On the other side, it's going to be a tall order now for ZAKDACARDOOR to try and get a hold of this game once more after losing grip a little bit.
It's gonna be interesting. It sounds like Pika's internet is giving out a little bit, so hopefully that internet can just recoup, so that ZAKDACARDOOR can have an attempt at this attack here. And if they are opting for this double shield, big question becomes, do you think we're getting a pirate ship on our hands here? I mean, we're seeing the making of a pirate ship. We've got the Mercy, we've got the Baptiste, we've got the Orisa and the Sigma. We just don't have any DPS picks.
I'm sure you haven't heard this line before, but they do a lot of trolling. So I wouldn't put it past them if they were to do that. Pika has unfortunately disconnected right now, trying to do a tactical restart before we get back in here, but it really just becomes about what Pika picks, and that if it is the Doomfist, that gives him that slight advantage, but it just becomes difficult with the Brig and the Zen.
Yeah, exactly right. The Brig and the Zen are going to be crucial to shutting down any sort of like dive, any sort of or sort of comp that's going to try to get into your backline desperately. So personally, I hope we see a pirate ship, a little bit of cheese, try and just push through as quickly as possible. I think it would be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be great. We normally don't see that kind of thing anymore, but if this team does a little bit of trolling, I would love to see a little bit of trolling. It's always great fun to see. It's always great fun to watch, and I also very much enjoy it when it goes well. So yeah. We all want to see it.
Yeah, I think it's required. Team ZAKDACARDOOR, it's ultimately required of you to play pirate ship at this point. We know you can hear us. We know you're listening. But no, it'll be interesting to see what they run. On the other side, the defense, Semantics, opting for a classic sort of Ashe, throwing out the dynamites, Tracer trying to get up close and personal in that back line, trying to take out the supports here. That will be the difficult part. For the potential pirate ship is trying to make sure this Tracer can't get any value. And Zephyr's been playing really well on Sigma. I do want to bring that up. Is the fact that, this Sigma choice here has been working well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like the subs coming in has definitely turned the game on its head. I think another player I think deserves some credit is Exotic Cow, who's just been keeping Snee up all this time, pretty much stopping all chances at trying to get any picks on them or whatsoever. And also the Brig's just been very good in general. Just stuff like that is really good. Also, Zephyr, it has been good with the Fluxes and it's been good with the Rocks as well. Bit unfortunate for ZAKDACARDOOR, but I think we're going to see Maeve now on the Sigma. It's a bit different, but hopefully we see just as good players what we've seen already.
Absolutely right. And you know what? One thing I have to say with Pika DCing now, fortunately it was in between the map swaps rather than mid-match where you lose your ult charge, you lose where you were, you lose a whole lot of stuff. So oh my gosh.
Oh
Not
my
only do we
goodness.
see the pirate ship, we see a Torbjorn Bastion pirate ship. This is disgusting.
This is going to be the most incredible game of Overwatch you've ever seen, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot wait for the true pirate ship, like the origins of Overwatch coming back to life here in 2021. Unbelievable scenes.
Yeah, this is gonna be. If it works, it's gonna be beautiful. Some people might not enjoy it, especially when you're going up against it. But to watch it and to watch it succeed is always a bit of good fun. So here comes the potential troll comp as the Orisa sets up that shield. Sigma's gonna get up close and personal, be aggressive. The pull is good, and look at that. You've got a pirate ship on your hands strolling along.
Yeah, quite the beautiful view we get to see here. Scab has gone on to the Torbjorn after a couple shots on the Widowmaker. Now this is just perfect. I love what they're doing right now. There's no chance for Braindead to get in the backline now that the Torb turret is online, and there he goes. Just an easy fight. We're cleaning everything up right now, ZAKDACARDOOR. They have found the key to beating the team, to beating SEMANTICS, it looks like.
Oh no, this is not okay, Vocalize. This is gonna be disgusting, I feel.
Well, we get to sit back and enjoy it and not have to play against it. So be happy that you're in this position instead of being on SEMANTICS right now.
Absolutely, but potentially with that early pickoff on Maeve, Maeve will be able to come back pretty quickly, but it might open some kind of opportunity to get aggressive, but I think this Wrecking Ball's going to struggle. I think Braindead might struggle a bit. However, Exotic has taken out Pika, and that's going to open up the fight here. Now Maeve does take out Braindead, but with Escape rolling through your whole team, it's putting a lot of pressure. Maeve is getting those kills now, and it's going to give Orisa a little bit more value in being able to push up onto this payload, and the payload is going to start strolling along again, even without the pirate ship fully set up.
I think it's super important now that Scab puts his turret in a position where it's actually helping Pika so he doesn't get hacked off by Rika. Rika's been making sure that he can't stay on point as much as he currently is. That's being real difficult. That's giving it some disruption. Great stuff from Maeve, though, to, like, you know, push through, get on that flank and kill a couple people. Really good stuff. But GUI gets a pick on a Rika in that backline. Quite incredible stuff. And Pika's just still chilling on point.
This is scary. An amplification matrix bastion is not it's just nothing you want to ever see. And now we've got the configuration tank just rolling up into your backline, going up the stairs, getting the shot onto Braindead. Meanwhile, Molten Core straight up onto the bridge, and Escape is not going to survive it as this payload cruises pretty casually through the second point. Richter now gonna try to stall a little bit, but gets away just as quickly.
They are simply vibing on this point, it seems. Refusing to not get off it at all, except for maybe Maeve sometimes, who's just battling on this high ground, allowing their team to take the space. Not letting Zephyr or any of the other team get off here, but gets hacked and gets really out of position. That's very unfortunate for them.
Now you just see Escape sitting in the backline, stopping the payload from moving for a little bit, but the EMP is huge. That EMP is going to absolutely unlock a beautiful defense for SEMANTICS, and this is the opportunity they were looking for. It's going to be so hard now for ZAKDACARDOOR to try and set up another pirate ship, especially with the sort of high ground push that you're going to try and do.
I definitely have the time to set it back up here. We're just going to wait for Ritka to see what they do in the backline, just waiting for a hack out, trying to get Guimon startled with Escape going in as well, trying to get the kill on him. No such luck, though, on that backline. But they're going to be waiting for Pika to set up, and he has. And it's going to be difficult for Escape to actually escape out of there, but gets a Wind Feather in the process.
Yeah, manages to get the minefield off, taking out Wind Feather, unlocks an ability for Sneed to get the kills, and this is looking like a solid defense now for Semantics, as they are once again holding it.
Yeah, it's just really good work from them. They have the Matrix ready, though, for Pika to use. Maybe they get a little bit of Torb action in there. They have the ult game up, but what's going to be the real downfall of them is the EMP. It just counters nearly everyone on this comp, and it's well done from Semantics. They will pick up the fact that Sombra does do all of this, but Sneed falls down so early, nowhere near Exotic Cow to protect him, and that might be all she wrote for this fight.
Sneed going early is going to be devastating right now for Semantics, as now ZAKDACARDOOR are able to push up onto this payload, and we're probably going to see a pirate ship get set up pretty quickly. No, okay. Pika opting to play the high ground, wanting to just do damage from above, and I mean, I do respect it. The Bastion burning damage through on the high ground is going to be scary. EMP, though, is going to make it so hard. Self-destruct comes out, doesn't really connect onto much. Tries to get the remake kill onto Pika here, but the remake kill doesn't come through, and this payload has been staggered a little bit, but the fight is still happening, especially with the res onto Scab. Amplification Matrix now comes out, and Pika popping the configuration tank, taking out Brain Dead, gets finished off by Exotic Cow, though. The fight is going so back and forth, and that's what Semantics want. They want a back and forth fight. They want to burn off the time bank, and they want to get a potential hold here. But ZAKDACARDOOR are not out of it right now as the rally comes through by Exotic Cow. This fight is chaotic, and it is not stopping until the last man is standing, it looks like. Guimon falls, and now it's going to go the way of Semantics, as they potentially are going to get a good hold here.
We're finally seeing them top off the Bastion. After this close, it's very difficult to get that pirate ship set up again, but we've seen Pika run onto his Trident 2 Doomfist, trying to take the high ground, trying to get a kill on Sneed. That's going to be very important, because no, Sneed does have the trance. It could just change the whole complexion of this matchup, but now they're going for a more traditional dive, Team ZAKDACARDOOR.
Now it looks like, this dive is going to be pretty critical in just finding a couple of picks here. They look for it. They've managed to try and find Richter, but Richter gets away, and that minefield by Escape is going to once again slow down this push from ZAKDACARDOOR. As now, all of a sudden, ZAKDACARDOOR's juicy time bank is lower than what Semantics got, and there's a potential that the full cap may not even come through.
It's definitely a do or die situation right now for ZAKDACARDOOR. It's just so difficult with the Sombra in the backline. They just capitalize it so quickly. You see Maeve right there getting hacked and just getting out of mech immediately. So unfortunate. Trance comes out too. There's just so much damage, so much healing. They just want to win these fights so badly, but they're going to be walking into the next couple fights about as much ultimates as they should have.
Yeah, that was such a quick collapse. I mean, didn't even need to play by play it because the fight was done so quickly. Oh boy. But yeah, it looks like Maeve and Guimon are going to try once again another push on this high ground. Jumping up, but gets booped down by Escape. Escape not letting them get the touch. Peeking out, going in for a punch. Scab is the one, however, getting the kill onto Brain Dead. The Nano goes on to Pika, and Pika needs to land a really good shots now to get value out of the Nano, and they do. Taking out Exotic Cow the second they pop rally here. Losing the rally could be devastating for Semantics. They need to now just regroup, recoup, and figure out how they're going to stall this out so that ZAKDACARDOOR do not cap and have a chance of winning the series. EMP is going to be what unlocks it. Self-destruct 3! Zephyr taking this fight by storm here, and now all that's left is Maeve. They throw the minefield just to make sure no one is able to touch, and with that, Semantics are not out of this fight as they decide to take us to a map 4.
That is really good stuff. The subs came in clutch right there. The combo was absolutely massive to get them. When I thought that ZAKDACARDOOR had that, but the EMP and the bomb were used in sync, and it worked out perfectly for them. We get to see it in real time right now. Beautiful work from Ripka and Zephyr. I mean, they both just come in here, they both come into subs, and they do the business. Like, real good work from them.
And now Semantics have one sight on their mind, and that is reverse sweep. They brought in the subs. They're trying their hardest to find some kind of value and push through what looked like a really dominant ZAKDACARDOOR play style here. And I mean, maybe it was just because they went a little bit troll with the pirate ship. And maybe now we'll move into 2CP and something else will change. But it looks like we're jumping straight into Volskaya. They don't even need to think about it. They know they want to go to Volskaya. What do you think ZAKDACARDOOR are going to bring to Volskaya?
I have no idea. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything can happen with this team. I think if they're very certain about picking Volskaya, they obviously know what they want to do and how they're going to do it. And that means that they're going to get a lot more value out of what they did on Junkertown. I mean, we're probably going to see Pika on either the Doomfist or maybe the Junkrat, because they're doing a lot of good work with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Pika on Doomfist, I think, is peak performance right there. Just really putting a lot of pressure onto Semantics, and it is still that uphill battle for Semantics, but now at least they've broken through that door of we can't get a win, we are getting just steamrolled here, and now they know that actually they have this chance to maybe take it back. And I think that's just having that mental state of we can take a map from them is going to give Semantics enough steam to maybe push through Volskaya Industries.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult. I think with their new subs in, it's just, they look a lot more skilled. You got Snee and I think Ritka just definitely just dealing so much for them. Just Semantics have the backup that they need. But it's a tall order for ZAKDACARDOOR now. They need to put this on their head. They need to switch this around and then deal some damage. I'm excited to see this map.
Yeah, absolutely. Volskaya Industries is a very fun map. There's a lot of different playstyles. We might see double shield. We might see a little bit of dive. We might see the classic rush. It's gonna be fun. And I think the question comes down to, will ZAKDACARDOOR play as dominantly, or will they troll a little bit to have a little bit of fun? We are just waiting on a few players to get ready up and be good to go here. But I think there's a lot of opportunity here. I mean, it's classic assault. It's 2CP, so we might see a quick push on first map and then a long stall on second map. We might see a snowball. We might see a full hold. There's so many options, and it just comes down to what is each team gonna run to try and stay alive in this series.
Yeah, at this point in time, anything can happen. I'm not too sure there. Even with the subs, it was so close together. But it might be back and forth just as it was before, or we could see ZAKDACARDOOR push through with another bonkers comp, or Semantics can come through with something, very refined and good, and like something that a lot of people can play together that could, hold them out. But I guess we're just going to find out right now as ZAKDACARDOOR get ready to defend.
Yeah, absolutely. All our questions, I think I've said this a lot already, but I'll say it again. All our questions will be answered very shortly as we jump into Volskaya Industries, that classic snowy map. And yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It just comes down to, what does ZAKDACARDOOR opt to play? Something silly, something more refined. And then Semantics just need to see what option they choose and counteract that. If they choose that refined option, play something that puts a lot of pressure onto Pika, a lot of pressure onto Scab. If they choose something silly, just find the perfect counter for it, because if it's silly, there will be a way to break it. And it looks like we got a Reaper pick coming up from Pika.
Yeah, a bit different. He's flexing off a little bit now. I think Pete is taking the right choice here, actually, just preparing for the worst. I think you see on the other side, they're preparing for the Bastion again. It seems like it's running around with that quick, fast Tracer Sombra combo. Sonic back onto the Brig. Yeah, they're playing something really fast play. So I think the Reaper's a good shout in this matchup.
Yeah, Reaper's going to be able to take out anyone who gets up close and personal here. So we'll see how it works out as Escape is rolling straight into this backline. Maeve recognizes it instantly and starts chasing them down. Now Escape just trying to find, where do I play to get the most value? Where are the supports? And they found them all the way down the back line. Hack onto Maeve. That's going to make it really hard for Maeve to get a lot of value as they can't fly around now and they can't eat up any damage. Brain Dead just trying to do a bit of harassment onto these supports, but with Scab falling to Richter, that is going to open up the fight early. GUI isn't out of it just yet as they do take out Brain Dead on the Tracer here, but this point is starting to slowly tick away to Semantics here. Are they going to get one tick? They managed to not get one tick as ZAKDACARDOOR touch point just on time, and now Maeve is getting aggressive, but not with GUI, and because of that, both of them fall together, but just on opposite sides of the point. And now this point is really going to start ticking over to Semantics as just really supports all that are left to defend the point.
I think after these subs come in, there's just like a very much an increase in mechanical skill, and that's what's helping Semantics a lot right now. They just got players that have been working together a lot more, but Pika at the back to taking out Exotic just for a bit of fun. He's going to get hacked and most likely die here. Very unfortunate for him.
Oh, that was so sad. So a whole lot of things just happened. We saw Windfeather pop the nano into a Siki, and then a Siki immediately died. But then Windfeather slapped Exotic Cow, and Pika just came out of nowhere and punched Exotic Cow into the face. Both Brigs really had a painful experience just then, unfortunately. And now it looks like Semantics, they've got so many ults, they should be able to just do a little bit of snowball, and with Scab getting taken out early, you might see it come through. GUI is going to pop the Primal, and Transcendence is forced out, but Richter gets taken out by the Primal Rage from GUI, and the supports are getting a lot of pressure as well. GUI does now fall to Snee, but because of that, they're going to commit the rally. Exotic Cow popping rally, and Oseki following up with a rally of their own. Both teams getting a lot of shields and a lot of support to stay alive. Self-destruct and Minefield on the point. Self-destruct is going to de-mech Maeve and force them to use their self-destruct of their own, which kills Brain Dead. Windfeather now putting a little bit of work in. ZAKDACARDOOR are looking a little bit more solid on the second defense as 4 ultimates were used, but not even a single tick comes through.
That's a very good defense from ZAKDACARDOOR. They recuperated. It looked like they were going to lose it at the beginning, but with their good spore times, because no one was touching point, they were able to come back in here and get that fight win. But we're going to have to be looking out for the EMP now, the big fight decider in a sense. But the other team, they're probably going to have to either nano Winston in, or going to have to be nanoing Pika on that Doom.
Pika just hiding in a cheeky wee spot right now, going up into the back line, and that EMP comes out but only connects onto 2. Not enough players, and the Nano Guimon is just really going to put a lot of pressure right now on Semantics. Semantics trying to find some kind of value, but with Guimon just getting pick after pick, it's not going to be much. Gui finally falls, but the respawns are there for ZAKDACARDOOR, and because of that, it's a call for Semantics to fall back.
Yeah, another great hold from them. They're just slowing down the time with their increased respawns. They don't care how aggressive. They don't really care how aggressive they're getting right now. They're just getting value out of it. We see Pika now. He's going to have that Meteor Strike available to him. And on the other side, we've got Doomon and that Primal, but Transcendence is available. That's going to be important here. But Exotic falls so early, but Pika falls too. But I think Exotic is the much better pick in this exchange.
Oh no, you've got to be confused if you're Exotic Cow. The Doomfish just coming down and meteor striking you. That's going to make it really hard now for Semantics to push in. Even with Brain Dead taking out GUI, Richter falls on the Cassidy, and yeah, Brain Dead opts for the reset. Once again, just falling back to spawn. Pika putting in so much work.
Yeah, it's just so good from him. Just The Doomfist, he comes in, he may die, but he just respawns before they can touch point, and he's just back and he can get another kill again. But you know, now we have ult generation happening at a very similar rate now. Five for the Semantics, only four for the only four for ZAKDACARDOOR, but that's more than enough to pick up a win here with that Nano Monkey plus the Primal.
Oh, Nano Monkey is so scary, and yeah, having Primal coming out if they need to stay alive. Deadeye by Cassidy is forced out just to try and put pressure onto GUI to not hurt these supports, and now Transcendence comes out as well. They do not want to give GUI the time of day to get any value here. However, meanwhile, back in the back line, Zephyr does take out Pika. Losing Pika is going to be devastating. Nave is going to pop out the self-destruct. Doesn't connect onto too much, and Exotic Cow does take them out during the self-destruct. Self-destruct by Zephyr doesn't connect onto much either, and now just looking to remake. Doesn't go for a remake kill, however. Wind Feather, they get taken out by Exotic Cow, and this Brig is now putting in the work, showing ZAKDACARDOOR that, yeah, Brig is good. You're right.
They have definitely got the advantage over them now. They've flustered ZAKDACARDOOR, the amount of subs they put in, and they are showing them that having this large roster is helping them so much. It's quite incredible what they're doing right now. But hey, they only got 1 minute 18 on the clock. At the time that ZAKDACARDOOR can come in and beat surely, but it's also could be a very good defense for Semantics. So I'm not even sure which way this will go at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's classic 2CP. Anything can go here. Like I said, we could see a full hold. We could see a last-minute stall. And if we know something about Semantics so far, they know how to defend at the last minute, especially from what we saw with Junkertown. So this whole roster change-up is looking like it's working out well for them, and they just need to play really well, burn off time bank. They're able to give up that first point as long as they get a perfect stall on the second point of Volskaya Industries. This could be another dub for them and another step forward in the reverse sweep.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's getting closer and closer to being reality. You just switch the team up, and then there you go. It just turns on a dime just like that. They must be playing together so much. They must have planned for something like this for it to be going so perfectly for them right now. It's quite incredible. But we're looking at it like a double bubble attack for ZAKDACARDOOR. Like, they've steered away from those more crazy comps and gone a lot more conventional.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. They want to be able to win it. They probably want to win it quickly before it gets too late as well. But GUI getting taken out early by Zephyr is just Semantics saying, we are not out of this right now. Zephyr putting in so much work now on this Diva.
Yeah, it's just so good. I mean, there's so much pressure in from Braindead on that far. Getting so close to Barrage already. Look at that, 75-80 now. It's so good from them. Pika locking onto the Widow just to see what kind of value that they can get. There you go.
Oh.
That's exactly the kind of statement that you want to be making. Not even letting them res. Really good stuff.
Yeah, Pika, beautiful headshot onto the Pharah, and Widow is exactly the right choice to counter Pharah, so I respect it. Richter, however, is going to get the kill. Nano onto Maeve is going to make this, the point a very scary place to be, and it's going to give up a free tick. Escape is now back, however, and is going to put a little bit of pressure now that their Nano's gone. Pulse Bomb comes out onto Wind Feather, and losing that Ana is devastating for the attack here. However, all they need to do is keep continuing to gain little by little of this point progress. Get the second tick, and now with Braindead back, the Pulse Bomb eaten by Zephyr. It could be exactly what Semantics need to win the hold. Snee now taking out Oseki, and this point isn't going to continue progressing. Only 2 ticks given.
That is crazy how quickly they got back there. They recuperated, they stalled it out, and they got that cap. They stopped that cap, rather. That was actually really good from them. Peak is now locked onto the Cassidy to get something more substantial for this Farah by Braindead. But is that really the issue at this point? Because I think Rick is just harassing the backline so much.
Yeah, I think this backline harassment is putting a lot of pressure on ZAKDACARDOOR, and ZAKDACARDOOR, they may just need one more tick, but it's going to be hard for them right now. Primal forced out, jumping straight up, trying to find Snee. Snee desperately trying to run away from this angry monkey, but you can't run away when you're falling off the map here. And now Gui going to try chase down Escape. However, Escape can get away. They do escape, dare I say. Pika takes out Richter, and now it's finally going to look like this point opens up for ZAKDACARDOOR. Not as much time back as Semantics had, but it's still enough to be able to put a little bit of pressure onto the second push here.
They still have time to turn it around. They have 4 minutes. So much more time for capping the point and make out the odds in his favor. We know how crazy 2CP maps can be. The snowball is, of course, in order. Anything can happen.
Yeah, and it looks like they're not mucking around. They're trying to get up close and personal. Richter gets the pulse bomb onto Pika, but Scab is going to take out their Tracer counterpart. All that matters for Semantics right now is they harass the ZAKDACARDOOR as much as possible. They make sure that ZAKDACARDOOR cannot make progress and that time bank burns away, and it's exactly what they're doing. Nano onto Gui. Gui jumping onto the high ground. The bubble protects them from getting slept, and now with the grab, Zephyr is just going to be absolutely destroyed. Forced to use the self-destruct just to remake quickly. Brain Dead on the soldier is going to get harassed by Gui jumping onto the high ground. Pika takes out Richter, pops a Deadeye. Cassidy not getting a kill with the Deadeye, but did take out the Tracer here. Brain Dead found Scab, so Semantics might still be able to keep this alive even with one tick coming through. But Pika and Gui are still putting in the work here. Maeve as well is here to join the fight and is taking out 2, and this point might slowly progress the way of ZAKDACARDOOR, but it's a classic 2CP moment where the respawn point is so close for Semantics that they are able to come back quickly. 2 ticks now given away, but Escape is going to come back, and with the help of Snee and Zephyr coming through as well, and now Exotic Cows here, it looks like all of Semantics are going to be able to recoup and just try and stall out this fight just before the third tick comes through. Pika takes out Escape, and that's going to open it up. Scab taking out Exotic Cow now as well. This point is starting to look a little bit more the way of ZAKDACARDOOR, especially with the Nano onto the Winstons. Gui knows how to use that Nano and works it so perfectly. Now the goal for Semantics is just stall as much time bank as possible. Keep coming back, rally from Exotic Cow, and a little bit of a tactical visor, but gets taken down by the pulse bomb. Escape is going to try spin, but isn't able to spin when you get stunned here. Anti-Nadu also lands onto Escape, and all that's left for Escape is to get pushed around by Wrecking Ball. Pika pops the Deadeye once again. Cassidy putting in the work, and it's not enough for Semantics as it does cap through with 1 minute 51 seconds.
That was crazy. Oh my goodness. This is
Wow.
classic 2CP moment. That fight went on for a literal minute. Like, how on earth can these guys keep playing like this? It's so late on to the night and they're still playing their hearts out. Props to them. But we're really close to seeing how crazy this map could be. It could either go to the map 5, or we could see ZAKDACARDOOR take it with that time bank.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, it's still anyone's game. I keep saying it, but it's just the reality. The times are so close. There's about 30 seconds in between it. Semantics, they could take this dub here if they get a really quick rush through cap first point and put a lot of pressure. Try and get a couple of ticks on second point. They could get it. There could be ZAKDACARDOOR getting a solid defense, then just getting 1 tick. Or there could be the dreaded 2CP draw. Anything could happen right now, Vocalize.
If it comes to that, oh boy. We're in for a long night, Opara. I'm pretty sure it's into the early AMs for you right now. So it's a bit challenging for the NZ players out there, but we're still going strong and we love to see it.
Absolutely nothing stops ASCENT, not even time, and Time is what Semantics are looking for, as there's only a minute for their push right now. We do see Escape on the Wrecking Ball jumping onto point to try put a little pressure, try to get them off the high ground, but ZAKDACARDOOR do not get baited. They do not fall for it here. Brain Dead now getting aggressive. Oseki trying to keep this team alive here. ZAKDACARDOOR desperately trying to make sure that this is a full hold here. Now 30 seconds remaining with Escape going off the map. Was that a mistake? I don't know what just happened to Escape there, but losing Escape, falling off the map, that is not what you want to happen here, especially when there's 30 seconds left. Richter needs to try and do something here on the Sombra now. Maybe try and build up a EMP quickly. Maybe Brain Dead needs to get the Pulse Bomb. They need some kind of value, Vocalize.
Yeah, I mean,
oh no.
The whole has been perfect so far. Like, the Torb was such a great pick. I mean, Scab onto the Cassidy. We've seen Pika on it for a little bit, but now he's producing the value as well. Only 2 seconds left. I don't think maybe Escape will get a touch here, but it's going to be all for Nor, I feel like, at the moment, with this incredible hold they've been putting on.
Solid defense coming through by ZAKDACARDOOR, and yeah, that's pretty much going to confirm it. Richter, Brain Dead, Exotic all falling so rapidly. The boulder into Zephyr not even able to touch. That is a full hold for ZAKDACARDOOR and a 1-tick opportunity for them to win the series. So Semantics can only draw.
Famous Dua Lipa once said that 1 tick is all it takes. So here we go. 1 tick is all it takes to get this win. All right.
2 minutes as well. Practically
Yeah,
2 minutes,
2 minutes
to get 1 tick.
2 minutes. 2 minutes, 1 fight win. Everyone gets to go to bed. Come on.
So
Sure will happen.
as much as Semantics have put on such a good show, they're really up to the wire here now. It is literally, they have to try draw to stay in the series, and I think there is a potential. You know, they played really well. They have played solidly. It's just a matter of you don't want to let 1 or 2 mistakes end up causing you the map. Meanwhile, ZAKDACARDOOR, they probably just want to try rushing quick, build up ults, probably not cap first time, and then just come through and ultimate spam their way to victory. That's what I'm sort of predicting.
I think that's a great plan as well. When you have the ults that they're going for right now, it's just going to be so strong and so powerful. Like, I don't think that comp has anything to, like, even counteract just the Death Blossom. I mean, maybe just the Brig Bash, but it's going to be tough in the later stages of their time back.
Now, this early defense, the Dynamites and Biotic Grenades are putting a lot of pressure onto ZAKDACARDOOR, slowing down their push a little bit. 1:30 so far, so 20 seconds burnt off the clock without them even passing through the archway, and that's exactly what this comp is trying to play for, not let them make the rotations they're trying to do, especially with Escape harassing their backline and the Dynamites coming through for any stragglers that are trying to push through. And it is working well so far. Scab taken out by Richter early on. Gonna make it really hard for ZAKDACARDOOR to make this push.
Yeah, it's very difficult. You see Winfeather now getting so close to ult, very first person in the game. Richter following on the other team. Maybe a bob will come out here. That will really slow them down. It's maybe their ult economy plan is just not going to work out for them, because they have to just wait for a Scab to get back. And they've got Braindead in the backline just ready for him.
Now, the thing we need to keep an eye out for is Windfeather has Nano. We could see a Nano Winston jumping onto the higher ground. Here it comes. Nano Winston trying to burn through these supports. Bob getting thrown down onto the point here, but with Gui taking out both supports in the back line. Semantics, they're in desperation now. Gui taking out 3 now. Even with Bob on the field, it's not going to do too much, but Richter and Braindead, they are still trying to keep this fight alive. It's 1 tick left, and Zephyr is the baby diva. Escape on the Wrecking Ball. Is it going to be enough? I don't think it will be. Now the Primal Monkey comes out. Primal Rage by Gui is going to mean that Escape gets taken out, and just trying to push people off the point so they cannot stall this out any longer. 1 tick is all that's left for ZAKDACARDOOR to take this series, and they do. ZAKDACARDOOR go up 3-1 in the series, take the W. What an incredible game.
What a series. It went back and forth the entire time. Guimon delivering the goods in the final play. Windfeather, though, got to be the MVP building that nano so quickly, and Gui was able to pick up 3 kills with that nano monkey and then got primal rage off of it. That was the big delivery there. And finally, there you go, you have it. Team ZAKDACARDOOR wins 3-1 against SGU Semantics.
Absolutely, and what an exciting match that we've been given. We've had 2 really fun matches. Just quickly, big shout out to Team ZAKDACARDOOR for getting the W. Who do you think was their MVP?
I think 2 people really stand out during this performance, especially for me. I think it was Pika and Guimon, but I'm going to have to give it for Guimon for delivering in that final moment. I feel like that was just the like the difference maker in this series.
Absolutely right. I have to agree. I think Guimon, and at the same time, Windfeather as well. I think Windfeather played a phenomenal support. They were really good at Brig. They were really good at Ana. Like, a lot of Guimon's success was because of nanos given by Windfeather. So big shout outs to pretty much all of ZAKDACARDOOR. Really good team, really solid looking team. Semantics put on a great show and we're almost able to bring the reverse sweep, but not enough. Meanwhile, our first game, Getting Creative versus Metrics, a big GG for that match there as well. Thank you all so much for joining us. It's been a chaotic and crazy fun time here. I hope you guys have all enjoyed. Thank you to all the players, and I think we've got a few other big thank yous to go through. Big thank you to the event producers, AOEsports, Bloodborne, Gat, Papadaka, sending a lot of our love to Papadaka as well, as they are going through some fun hospital events right now. So send our love to the way of Papadaka, as well as a big shout out to Koalas Esports, as with Sdogga and Bees helping with the production today. Our event coordinators, Papadaka and Sdogga, man, putting in the work to make sure that you guys are getting these streamed games happening. Big shout out to Temporalic, our streamer, who is literally letting you watch the game right now. Myself and Vocalize were your casters for the night. Thank you to our stream technical assistants, Gat, Temporalic, and Sdogga, man. And a big special thank you to our patrons. You guys make this happen. It's so important that we thank you guys for being able to produce this and bring it to you. And a final big special thanks to AOE, Gat, Papadaka, KE, the players, everyone in the KE community, and everyone who came out to watch the stream. It's been an incredible couple of matches. Thank you all so much, and have a good night.
See you next time.